All right, that's enough procrastinating. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show. I'm Monkey. This is Monkey in the Morning. We were going to do a show last night, but I took a nap instead and got 8 hours of sleep, which is pretty unusual for me. And then I woke up and oh, more hearings are happening. So we're going to watch some because that's what I do. Hope you guys know I'm putting up video games for you. Normally, when I watch this shit, I'm playing video games to keep myself entertained because a lot of this is boring. We had Pete Hegseth yesterday, and his confirmation hearing went about like I expected it to. He said, I didn't expect the women to be so, pardon the phrase, but female about it. I mean, Kirsten Gillibrand, mad as a motherfucker because Pete said women don't belong in combat. And every one of the Democrats, him saying they don't belong in combat roles was like, you don't believe that women belong in the military. He never said women don't belong in the military. He said they don't belong in combat roles. And they're like, how dare you say that? And Kirsten Gillibrand, I am not making this up. You can go watch it. She's asking him about this, and she's like, wait, it was really important in Iraq that there were women who could go into the houses and talk to the other women. That was her explanation for why we needed women in combat, so they could talk to women. I guess she was trying to make women look bad. She didn't give an example of, like when some the whole unit. No. It was that they talked to the civilians. Like, Jesus fucking. Hey, sweetie, you do realize that in all military campaigns, we've had people who talk to the civilians, right? Thank you, Tyride, for that feminist $12. YouTube actually just told me you started. The world is coming to an end. I feel like YouTube is like being nice to me lately, and I don't know why. I've actually had a couple of streams where I didn't have to challenge their mature, you don't get money rating thing that they do. Like, advertisers won't like you. You say words that are on television all the time. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I think a lot of tech companies are realizing the bad place they put themselves in. We're just gonna bring Bondi up on screen because she's prettier to look at than I am. And this is the Trump's nominee for the Attorney General. And right now, Marco Rubio, he's being questioned in a much smaller chamber. I don't know how they decide which committee goes where, but his looks more like a hostage negotiation, where this is the big bright room. Rubio's up for Secretary of State. Bondi here is up for AG, Attorney General, for people who don't know what that means. And if you guys are watching this because you want to watch the hearings, I just want to warn you right now, you should go watch it somewhere else, because we're going to do this the same way I do all my watch stuff. There will be constant interruption. We're not watching it live. This isn't a watch party. This isn't, people talking over the guys on the screen, because I can't stand that shit. So I don't do it. But what we will be doing is pausing at moments where I'm like, I want to talk about this. And mostly that means we're going to be skipping the Republicans on the committee, because the only one that's talked so far, where we are here. Okay, I should probably explain. Where I have this paused at is many minutes ago by now that probably already had two other people question. So far it's been Grassley, Durbin, Lindsey Graham, and now Sheldon Whitehouse. And the first ones I don't really care about. Durbin, his questioning was basically, hey, you like Trump, right? And that's supposed to be bad. And Grassley and Lindsey Graham were just like, you're so amazing. And that's how it's going to be from them. And I don't care about the you're so amazing people. I want the conflict. And I like watching Democrats be dumb. I want to remind you guys that Sheldon Whitehouse here, the guy that we're going to be listening to, this is the guy who, doesn't like black people at his beach club. Metal Minister, thank you. So another 6+ hour stream, Monk? No. Because honestly, I'm not going to be able to just keep going like that. Well, maybe. We'll see what happens. I just want to put it that way. But anyway, so Sheldon Whitehouse has already started his questioning at this point. And I paused it here. I was watching live and her answers, well, maybe just, nope, stop. We're going to start right there. Sheldon has already tried to get her on Kash Patel, which, by the way, Kash Patel is going to be the FBI director if he's confirmed. She has nothing to do with his confirmation. And Sheldon's like, when you were AG in Florida, would you have hired somebody with an enemies list? And she's like, let's just cut through the shit and get to what you're asking about. Kash Patel. She goes, and I support him. And he goes, what I was asking about is, would you have an enemy list? And she's like, no, there'll be no enemy lists in the Attorney General's office, which I don't know if that's true or not. Kash Patel apparently said something to the effect of having an enemies list. And you know what, guys, if he does and it's just purely political, then yeah, that's totally wrong. If it's an enemies list of people who've been getting away with crimes, that's fine. We literally have like the FBI's most wanted list. Do you think Sheldon's out there going, oh my God, they're saying these guys are guilty before they've ever been? This is an enemies list. Probably not. But it's this question that really made me laugh my ass off and where we're going to start. And we'll give you a good preview of how the rest of this will go. Again, if you want to watch these uninterrupted or you don't want it paused constantly, you're better off watching this elsewhere. All right. Sheldon, take it away, you racist piece of shit.
And it would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime. It's a prosecutor's job to start with a crime and look for a name, correct?
Well, that's new from the Democrats, because y'all started with the name Trump and have been looking for crimes ever since. Uh-oh, hang on. I got a Snapchat from my wifey, and she takes precedent. Oh, oh, cool. Good news. Hang on. I got a Snapchat her back. You guys don't get to hear this because it's typing on my phone. There we go. Anyhow, the reason she Snapchats me, guys, is a lot of times my phone will not let me know when I get a text, but it does tell me when I get a Snapchat. I feel like big Snapchat is working against me on my phone. So anyway, the question is, you're supposed to start with a crime and then find the bad guy, right? Not start with the bad guy and find the crime. I just want to point out that just last night it was released that the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission, filed a charge against Elon Musk for underpaying for Twitter stock. They've been trying to find something. Joe Biden himself 2 years ago was like, I think we should probably, Elon Musk might be he could be a bad guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but we should look at him. Thank you so much, Tall Person. So glad to catch one of these live. Happy National Fresh Squeezed Juice Day. It just juice in general, not like orange juice or any like grapefruit or whatever people drink. Huh. But thank you for the donation and happy National Fresh Squeezed Juice Day to you too. Good morning, Monkey. Nice to see you streaming later in the morning. This is not by choice. Well, I guess I did make the choice to go to sleep. I went to sleep last night at midnight and I figured I'll be up by 4. When I woke up and looked at my phone, it said exactly 9 o'clock. I didn't go to sleep right away. I did watch one episode of The Office, I think is what I watched last night. And pet Phoebe for quite a while because she decided she needed dad love. She came up laid on my chest, and if I wasn't petting her, I'd get a dirty look. So I pet her until she decided she was done, and then I went to sleep. All right. So the question again, man, this is what I was talking about. If you guys want to watch this uninterrupted, this is not the show for you. The question is, you're supposed to start with a crime and not a person. And Bondi's answer, I fucking love this.
Correct.
Senator, I think that is the whole problem with the weaponization that we have seen the last 4 years and what's been happening to Donald Trump.
Well played. Well played indeed. I've noticed something watching this and watching I didn't watch all of Hegseth last night, but I watched part of it. It's amazing to me when I've seen Democrats get up there and get, hey, here's a tough question, and it's a nominee that Biden put up. They're like, I don't really know how to answer that. I'm just going to say random shit until the time expires. Trump's people are coming out swinging. They are coming out swinging. Like, don't you think you should look for the crime and then find the criminal? That's exactly what y'all been doing to Trump. That thing you just said, that we shouldn't be looking for the person to find a crime for them. Oh, Sheldon, you dumb motherfucker.
They targeted
Wait, is 11 in the morning too early for dumb motherfucker? Should I tone that down a little bit?
Donald Trump. They went after him, actually starting back in 2016.
True.
They targeted his campaign. They have launched countless investigations against.
Yeah, earlier in the questioning, I think it might have been Durbin, but their question about whether or not, because she said she would go after prosecutors. Like, is it right to go after prosecutors? And she pointed out the FBI's abuse of the FISA situation, or the FISA warrants, and how a prosecutor fucking lied to the FISA courts. And he's like, yeah, we would go after people like that. And that goes all the way back to Trump's first campaign. This shit has been going on the whole time. Democrats never believe they are doing what Putin does in Russia. Oh, they believe it. They just lie about it. They know what they're doing. They know absolutely what they're doing. Don't give them that credit. Oh, and for the record, if you're new around here, the reason everybody's typing in caps, they're not yelling at me. It's that I have trouble seeing, and they're doing that so that I can have the best chance of actually being able to read what they said. So if you're speaking to me, please, please, please do use caps.
Against him. That will not be the case if I am Attorney General.
Get him,
I will
girl.
not politicize that office. I will not target people simply because of their political affiliation. Justice will be administered even-handedly throughout this country. Senator, we've got to.
For the record, I still don't believe that. I still believe that there will be, unfortunately, the winners and losers picked by the system. But it can be better than it was. Get some glasses. It's not that. It's not that the stuff is too blurry to me, Matt. It's that there are blind spots in my eye, bud.
Bring this country back together. We've got to move forward, or we're going to lose our country.
Yeah, I think the concern is that weaponization of the Justice Department may well occur under your tenure.
Hey, that thing you just pointed out has been happening for 4 years. We're really worried you're going to do it to us. Oh, Sheldon, you fucking retard. That's literally what he was just saying. That's literally, hey, we don't want you to act like we've been acting. It's horrible. It's a bad thing. It's bad for the country if you do it. No proof of anything that they're doing like that, right? It's not like they have a case where like, hey, you said that you guys were going to go after, I don't know, let's pick some, Lloyd Austin. You're going to prosecute him and he's done nothing wrong. There's no evidence of anything like that. Notice they won't bring up the names of anybody like Kash Patel is singled out as having been bad people.
We want to make sure that that's not the case, that you remain independent, that you remain able to and willing to tell the president no when that's necessary for.
This has already become a theme in this, and we're only 2 Democrats in. You need to be able to tell Trump no. How many times did Merrick Garland tell Biden no? Huh? You mean, I know it had been, hey, they went after Hunter. 1, that started before Garland. And 2, the only reason they went to where it did is because Garland was going to give Hunter a sweetheart deal. And so he's like, no, we're really going to be mean here and follow the law. A judge had to step in that shit. He was given such a sweetheart deal that a judge had to go, fuck no. And it should be pointed out that the deal that the AG's office had worked out with Hunter Biden was basically the pardon that he's getting, only he would have got a slap on the hand to go along with it. Because it was Anything he did wrong during that time, we won't prosecute for. And it is amazing to me that nobody in the media has put this together that, wait, the original Justice Department thing was basically a pardon of him for this same 10-year span. And then Biden gave him one. What the hell went on in that 10-year span? Instead, all we ever hear is, hey, he's not a government employee. Fuck off. His dad was, and he was using his dad's name to make foreign business deals. Get fucked.
To protect the Constitution and the integrity of the department. So that's where I'm
sorry.
asking
Did you just mention the integrity of the Justice Department? She pointed out just a little bit ago about the FBI lawyers lying on a what's the word I'm looking for? A warrant, a FISA warrant. They lied on it. Hey, don't mess with the integrity of this. Fuck you.
asking these questions. We talked in the meeting about the contacts policy that has prevailed really since Senator Hatch sat in that chair and demanded.
Real quick, they will be talking about several things. I mean, they already talked about the fuck, I forget. They're going to talk about a lot of acts that we either are unfamiliar with or I don't care about, and for the most part, we'll just kind of be going through it. Can a presidential pardon be revoked? No, it can't.
Of the Clinton Justice Department.
What they could do is argue that he was mentally impaired and therefore not of sound mind. I just don't think anybody will do that. They should, but they won't.
Through all the administration since then, with the exception of a brief period under Attorney General Gonzalez, which he corrected and which did not end well for him, there has been a contacts policy that limits contacts between the White House and the Department of Justice to a very few senior officials on each side.
Yeah, and instead what they do is they go through, I don't know, Fani Willis. Yeah, you see, Biden didn't actually talk to the Justice Department about what was going on with Trump. They just sent White House lawyers to talk to Fani Willis about what was going on with Trump. Says that, yeah, nothing happened. Nothing to see here. It's totally independent right now.
In your role as Attorney General, if you are confirmed, will you maintain, defend, and enforce that longstanding contacts policy?
I love this. Got brought up earlier. Lindsey Graham brought up Bobby and Jack Kennedy. And some of the most famous pictures of John Kennedy are with him standing there with his brother. And like, we need to have this separation. Look, we don't want the president in there, doing what Biden has done for the last 4 years. But the contacts policy has not stopped that from happening. You don't need to have a contact policy. What you need to have is good people in those positions so that you don't require this thing. How come it's great that Bobby was working for John, but hey, you kind of know Trump, so you should never be able to talk to him except every once in a while when we say it's okay? Did the contact policy stop the shit we've seen the last 4 years? Nope.
Senator, yes, I will meet with White House counsel and I will meet with the appropriate officials. And
This is insane. This is why we shouldn't have a Justice Department, if we're being honest. If you are this worried that the Justice Department is going to be used to target people for political reasons, it shouldn't exist. If you have this shit to where it can be abused that way, why is it even a thing? Either the Justice Department, this is a major cabinet position, and they're like, you can't talk to the president. Can you think of any other cabinet that is appropriate? Defense Department, you can't speak to the president because there might be you might use the military against Florida. Name me another one where it makes sense, where the head of the department, the person who literally works for the president, isn't allowed to talk to the president. If it is that bad, get rid of it. Get rid of the Justice Department. But we have federal laws. Well, let's get rid of those too, because most of them are retarded and we shouldn't have them. But monkey, you're talking about anarchy. Again, this country was founded with 4 departments, and it lasted that way for quite a while. They added a 5th and then a couple more, and now we're over 400. Hey, but we need 480 different departments because we have to justify wasting your money. Would you guys make something that could be so abused? And for the record, I don't think Sheldon Whitehouse here actually cares about this. This is just, hey, we got to go after her because she's a Trump nominee. And rather than say anything important, we're going to make it sound like she's just going to let Donald Trump decide everybody who gets prosecuted because he's an asshole and that's what he does. Sure, why not?
Follow the contacts policy.
My time has expired. Thank you, Ms. Bondi.
Senator Cornyn. Ms. Bondi, your testimony is music to my ears.
There we go. See, that's all I want to see of the Republican guy. Your testimony is music to my ears. She hasn't really even said much yet. Just get under the desk and flicker bean for if that's what you're gonna do. So let's jump ahead. There's Cornyn. These guys get to talk for 7 minutes. Oh God, who is that? Oh no. Oh, it's Amy. We got to listen to Amy next. I don't know the ranking system here because the way that they get to ask questions is their seniority on the committee here. And I don't know the seniority rank all the way around. So some of these I'm going to be like, oh, fuck, not this guy. Just because I'm not prepared for it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had a good meeting this week. Thank you for that. And I appreciated your priorities on human.
You'll hear them talk about this a lot. And there were many Democrats yesterday who were mad that Pete Hegseth didn't meet with them. It is tradition, though not required, for nominees, especially for the major heads of departments, to go meet with the different senators and have a sit down and get told in person how much of an asshole they are before they come here and get to be, they tell the whole world what an asshole you are.
Human trafficking that you mentioned today, that work, as well as fentanyl and some of your other prosecution experience. We had some similar backgrounds in doing that.
Nobody cares.
And I want to talk about, first of all, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota, one of the premier offices in the country.
Why are we, okay, I can't help but feel, because she's bringing up Minnesota, and maybe I'm wrong here, but that this is like kind of giving old, what's his name, a pat on the back, even though he's not, they're talking about the U.S. Attorney's Office, but why are we talking about Minnesota? Who is it out there? Ellison, that's the AG of the state. Is Minnesota really known for, wait, no, it's Minnesota, right? Are they really known for their great child trafficking stopping and fentanyl stopping?
This office has been instrumental in combating violent crime, dismantling street gangs, taking fentanyl off our streets, enforcing civil rights laws after George Floyd's murder.
Aha, there we go. The George Floyd stuff. That we're getting into it.
Ensuring victims of fraud get justice. Do you agree that it should be a priority to support U.S. attorneys, frontline prosecutors, and case agents who work hard every single day on our streets?
Well, it depends on, okay, this happens with the military too. I'm sure there's some great prosecutors out there who do a good job keeping crime off the streets. Can't think of any offhand, but I'm sure there's some. Do you think you should support the frontline work? Some of them, that there are some, it's kind of like with the, do you support the police? I support the good police, but there are bad police out there. I know where this is going. I know where this bitch is going with this shit.
Senator, I think that is one of the most important things in our country right now. And there are so many good men and women within the Justice Department.
But there's bad ones too.
As well as all the law enforcement agencies. yes, they work very hard and they will be supported.
Here's something that nobody wants to hear. A lot of really bad people work hard too. They work hard at being bad.
I'm concerned about some of the proposals.
Of course you
that
are.
could put cuts in the COPS program, burn JAG programs. I know you're familiar with those. Senator Murkowski and I lead the COPS reauthorization bill.
Oh my God. Yes, retro. This is a moment yesterday. Who was it that was questioning Pete Hegseth when that happened? Pete Hegseth talking about the JAG office, Judge Advocate General in the military. He referred to them as JAG-offs. And so the question comes up in the Senate hearing yesterday. What's a JAG-off? What exactly is a JAG-off? And Pete's like, I think everybody knows. And he's like, no, I need an answer. What's a JAG-off? That is part of our congressional record now. What's a JAG-off? I fucking love it. Oh, and that's what I was talking about with the Democrats. If that had been them, they'd be like, I never said that. I don't know what you're talking about. And Pete's just like, we know what it is. Come on, man. You're a jag-off. That's what I would have said. You're a jag-off. Although, wait, let me pause that. I do want to say about Pete Hegseth yesterday. Because he is playing the political game now, and this is just true. He kind of did backtrack on the women in combat thing. He tried pushing that he was talking about standards, which I think he is. But he also said women just don't belong in combat. And I agree with that 100%. If women end up in combat because they're in a supporting role and they get, rolled over, surprise attack, whatever, you need them as trained as they can be. But he didn't push back and be like, okay, how about you're a fat old white man? That's a fat old white lady over there. Let's see you guys do push-ups. Who can do most? Just asking. JAG-off equals Judge Advocate General's office. Actually, no, it's not what it means. What he should have said that. That would have been funny.
You commit to continue to support those programs?
Senator, I will read everything about those programs because that is a top priority of mine, and I would love to meet with you on that and Senator Murkowski to support law enforcement and those programs.
Thank you.
Again, see, they've done this to her already several times. Will you commit? The one with, I think it was Durbin who did it. Will you admit that the counterterrorism of the FBI is a good thing and commit to never get rid of it? And she's like, I'm going to look at all of the departments and if something needs to go, it needs to go. It's important work that they're doing, but we're going to look at everything. And they're trying to get them like, no, I absolutely will make sure that this never goes away. One, not her position. Two, some of this shit needs to go away. Maybe it just needs moved to a different area. You don't need 90 different things to do the one thing that you're trying to accomplish. Do you guys remember 9/11? Do you guys remember why we were told 9/11 happened? Despite all of the warnings about it coming, all of the intelligence that we had saying that, yeah, they're going to try to hit us. What was their thing? Well, we have all these different agencies. Everybody knew a little bit, but nobody put it all together. So we need to have the Department of Homeland Security that looks at all of it. But we still have all of those other things. You have 90 different agencies doing the job of one, and it causes problems. And so you're like, what we should do is make an umbrella agency for all of those 90. Instead of, how about we just merge those into one thing? Thank you, Keldrig. Much like a janitor, when the justice system is doing its job well, no one notices. But when the justice system fails, everyone sees it. So naturally, you wouldn't know the names of good prosecutors. True. Yes, absolutely. The only time that you learn the name of a good prosecutor is if they decide to run for like district attorney or AG or, run it, turn to actual legislative politics. And then you'll hear they got rid of all the pimps in downtown LA or not. But you're right. The only time you hear about them is when they're fucking up. And we hear a lot about them fucking up.
Thank you. Independence from political interference is vital to the legitimacy and success of the Department of Justice. I was on.
Fuck you, Amy. Fuck you. When you guys have had that asshole Merrick Garland in front of you, how much have you spent pointing out what a little toady he is for Biden's camp? I can't say Biden, but Biden's camp. That he's out there just doing their political bidding. Not at all. So stop pretending you give a shit about independence. What you care about is you're not coming after us Democrats, right? None of us Democrats are in the crosshairs, are we? Because it's independent if you only prosecute Republicans. That's true independence. Did she just say that with a straight face? She did, but in fairness, a lot of that is plastic surgery that makes it so she can't smile anymore.
Honestly troubled by some of the answers to Senator Durbin's questions. We will continue that discussion, I'm sure, on the committee about the election. But I want to focus on.
Durbin asked her if Biden won and if Biden got the most electoral votes. And she said, Biden is president. I recognize that. But I also saw a lot of really weird shit that went on. And I think we should all be concerned when there's weird shit going on. And that apparently has upset Miss Klobuchar here. She's going to have to eat another salad with a comb.
On the investigation, charging decisions. As a prosecutor, I'm sure you had this experience. I would get calls from people, hey, that's just a kid, give him a break. And I remember one answer I gave was, he's 40 years old, he's not a kid. But that kind of...
Yeah, totally. You got calls all the time about a 40-year-old being called just a kid. And we certainly haven't seen any Democratic judges or prosecutors who are like, they're only 20. We really can't hold them responsible for the rest of their life for murdering 3 kids. That shit never happens. Never. It's always just people. That's my 40-year-old kid.
Interference is attempted all the time.
Uh-huh.
And one of my concerns here, whether it's a call from a friend, a corporate lobbyist, a White House, it has been very clear that the attorney generals of both parties have established clear policies to ensure the White House doesn't tamper with criminal investigations and prosecutions. At Attorney General Mike McCasey's hearing, he made clear that any attempt by the White House, and these are the words, to interfere with a case is not to be countenanced. Any call to a line assistant or to a United States attorney from a political person relating to a case is to be cut and curtailed. Do you agree with this statement?
Senator, yes, I believe that the Justice Department must be independent and must act independently.
All right. Politically, sure, but I don't want an independent Justice Department. I want a Justice Department that's looking out for the laws of the United States. That is a very distinctly non-independent thing. And I hate to split that hair because I know what they're getting at, but if they're not going to just say what they mean, I'm not going to give them the grace of saying, I know what they meant. What you're trying to ask is, hey, do you think Donald Trump should be able to interfere with your decisions in the Justice Department? Just fucking ask that. It's what you mean. There's no evidence of it. They point to, oh, Donald Trump wanted Hillary prosecuted, but his own Justice Department said no. The reason that they didn't prosecute is because they really didn't push it that hard. Hillary was 100%, based on the information we have by the Justice Department, by the FBI, fucking guilty. If you did what she did, you would go to jail. They wouldn't go, oh, well, only a little bit of classified information got leaked out to people who shouldn't have. They found classified information on Anthony Weiner's laptop. He never should have had any access to that. And how did he get it? Because it came from his wife using Hillary's server. We believe in the independence, and we don't want you guys going after people who did bad shit on our side.
The number one job is to enforce the law fairly and even-handedly, and that's what will be done if I am confirmed as the Attorney General.
She should have put in there for the first time in 4 years. She should have ended that part that way.
provide an insurance to every member of this committee that the Justice Department will only follow the facts and the law, and the White House will play no role in cases investigated or brought?
That's what she just
Senator,
said.
it will be my job, if confirmed as Attorney General, to make those decisions. Politics will not play a part. I've demonstrated that my entire career as a prosecutor, as Attorney General, and I will continue to do
And-
that if you confirm me as the 87th Attorney General of the United States of America.
And for the record, notice Klobuchar didn't point to anything that Bondi has done. Like that time when you were down in Florida and you gave somebody a ball reach around because they were on your side. Remember that? If you're going to accuse her proactively of letting Donald Trump decide all of this shit, at least point to something where you can show she's done it in the past, because then I'll be on your side. I don't want somebody in there who's just going after Democrats either, because there are a lot of shady Republicans as well. But no, we have no example of this, but we've told the whole world that Donald Trump's going to do this, so we have to keep up this fucking lie.
In an earlier question, with some of my colleagues talked about China and the risk, yet you have a nominee from this incoming administration, Kash Patel, the pick to head the FBI, have serious concerns about him, has referred to the FBI's Intel division, which is responsible for protecting us from foreign adversaries like China, as, quote, the biggest problem the FBI has had. And he said that he wants to, quote, break that component out of the FBI. Do you agree?
Well, the FBI is not actually supposed to have counter intelligence on, like, China. I mean, if they're doing something here in the United States, the FBI is internal, the CIA is external. And yeah, you can use the FBI then to prosecute or to investigate stuff going on here, and then it goes on to the Justice Department for prosecution if something is found, and that's great. But once again, even if you think something is the right thing to do, like we need the counterterrorism of the FBI, is it being done right now? Are they doing their job? Are they, how do I want to put this, corrupt as fuck? Because two things can be true at the same time. We need counterintelligence, and the FBI is a bunch of liberal shitbags who are using their power to go after the American citizen rather than counter terrorism bullshit. You have these guys getting up there, white supremacy is the most deadly thing in America. Pay no attention to all those liberals who've been killing people and the Muslims and all. No. It's those white supremacists. They said the N-word on Twitter one time, and that killed 900,000 people. But even more important to this question, she's asking a nominee for the AG about another nominee who's not even confirmed yet. By the way, I will be trying to watch the Kash Patel one live. Kash Patel said this thing, and I don't like him. Are you the same? Yeah, sure. Why not?
I have not seen those comments from Mr. Patel. I would
And
review them.
Your question should be, why am I being, or your answer should be, why am I being asked about things Kash Patel said? Why don't you ask him? He's going to be in front of your committee. For the record, the way they do these nominations, or these confirmation hearings for the nominations, is the relevant congressional committee is the one who asks the question. So like right now we're in front of the Judicial Committee. Over there, I don't know which committee is doing Rubio's. Let's see, I would imagine Interior. I have no idea. I really don't. But like the Intelligence Committee or the Armed Services Committee would have been the one that did with the one yesterday with, I'm guessing it was the Armed Services Committee that did not Patel. God damn it. You fucked me up by bringing up Kash Patel. Pete Hegseth. That he was in front of Foreign Affairs or the military. I don't know which committee did it. But it's not all of Congress, and this is how you can have two of them going on at the same time. They're just committees. 20 people, maybe, depending on which committee it is, 20 people, maybe.
but we have to do everything we can to protect our country. Again, Mr. Patel would fall under me and the Department of Justice, and I will ensure that all laws are followed, and so will he.
There are many decisions made by the FBI director, having seen a number of them do their work, that can be made. While I agree you would be the boss of Kash Patel, I'm not sure that you would be able to intervene with every decision or position that he had or know what he's doing. So
Then why are you asking her about how she feels about what he's doing if she's got no say in it anyway? And she really doesn't. She does, but it's a complicated mess. This is why you shouldn't have two major heads like this. Anyway, ask Kash. I think the hearing is this week. Maybe it's next week. You're gonna get a chance to ask him about this shit. And what you just told her is like, you can't stop the FBI. Well, aren't you guys the ones who told us that the FBI has had the brakes put on them by Garland said no to that? We know the FBI basically works independently. You guys tried to pull that shit with the raid on Mar-a-Lago. Like, Merrick Garland totally had nothing to do with that.
let's continue. Do you agree it is the duty of the Justice Department to defend the laws Congress passes? And will you commit to do even when the president may disagree with an act campaigned against its passage or called for its repeal? President Reagan's AG, William French Smith, said the department policy was the department has the duty to defend an act of Congress whenever a reasonable argument can be made in its support. So
Well, okay, stop right there. Do you see what she just did? Will you commit to, and I should let her finish, will you commit to backing any stupid shit we do? Because Reagan's AG said that if there's a good reason to argue for it, he would. Do you see the difference there? Will you back anything we say versus anything that makes sense that we say? Those are entirely different things, Amy. And no, the AG, if there's a stupid, let's say Congress passes a law tomorrow that says, I don't know, let's pick something from our past. Slavery's legal. How about that, right? Congress is like, no, we rethought this, and since there's so many Democrats here, we decided to bring back slavery. Should the Justice Department be like, hey, Congress said slavery, so yeah, I'm for it? Or should they go, no, this is fucking stupid?
I'm specifically referring to the 2022 law that I long led that we passed to empower Medicare to negotiate drug prices, major savings for seniors. Will you commit to defend the law against the lawsuits from Big Pharma?
No, that's not. It's not the Attorney General's job. Frankly, it's asinine to even ask that question. Will you commit to backing my pet project? And look, I don't really give a shit about the whole argument with negotiating prices for Medicare. If Medicare wasn't negotiating prices, that was a failure of our government to begin with. What was keeping you from negotiating prices? Was there a law that said, hey, we got to pay whatever the market price is for? Because if there was, you guys were stupid. Every insurance company negotiates prices. But if it's something that is legal, she should be doing it. If it's something she believes in, she should be doing it. Otherwise, it's not her job to. And we have this problem a lot, and it happens, like you'll have a case against Donald Trump. Let's take an actual case. So Donald Trump is famously told that he cannot block people on Twitter. Remember this? And the Democrats use this to say all kinds of horrible shit to people constantly. You couldn't say anything to them, but hey, you can't block him because he's a public official. What happened in that case is it goes on to the appellate division, and they're like, well, Trump's not in power anymore, so it doesn't matter. And the Justice Department doesn't pick that case back up and go, wait a minute, wait. We want to challenge what you just said because it's stupid. Because now there was a Democrat in power who, let's be honest, the only reason they did that to Trump was to try to embarrass him. And they didn't need to embarrass him anymore in that regard. He'd been kicked off Twitter. So yeah, we don't need to go about that question about. In fact, you probably shouldn't be mean to politicians. You shouldn't be allowed to be mean to us because we're Democrats, and it never gets picked back up. It's one of the problems that we have here. Congress should have its own lawyer for this. If a fucking, and they do have tons of lawyers, but that should be their purview to be like, no, we're going to go defend this instead of it being the executive branch's problem.
Senator, I was involved in big pharma cases when I was Attorney General of the state of Florida,
Uh-huh.
and I will commit to protect the laws of the United States of America.
Okay, thank you. That would also, same question, with the Supreme Court is going to be hearing a challenge to the Affordable Care Act's coverage of preventative services. And despite the fact that you twice joined suits to have the entire Affordable Care Act invalidated, will you commit to defending this law?
Yeah,
See, this is what I was talking about. Whether the difference between defending a good law and defending a bad law. You shouldn't just defend it because Congress passed it. The Affordable Care Act was a joke, and we've seen the repercussions. Remember, it was going to make medicine much more affordable. How many of you have more affordable medicine now? In fact, they're telling us that all of the same problems that happened before Obamacare, the ACA, the American Cocksucker Act, that all of those same problems are still going on now because government fixed it.
Affordable Care Act invalidated, will you commit to defending this law?
yeah, I believe this is very different. It's a very isolated, it's different. It's not the entire Affordable Care Act, but I will, it's pending litigation, of course, within the department.
Since the 1990s, the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act has protected patients, providers, and facilities that provide reproductive health services.
Yeah, here's the most important thing. You're not allowed to tell people not to kill their babies within earshot of where they're killing babies.
Will you commit?
By the way, that law is fucking horrible and needs to be taken off the books. No, you should not be physically getting in people's way. No, you shouldn't be putting hands on them or any of that. But if you want to stand outside an abortion clinic with pictures of dead fetuses and say you shouldn't be killing your babies, that is your American right. It's funny to me, the people that are what's that the thing where you're not allowed to criticize Israel, the diverse or divest movement, whatever it is, and they're like, you can't say we can't do this because that goes against freedom of speech. By the way, you can't tell a woman in an abortion clinic not to kill her kid. That's no longer freedom of speech. Either freedom of speech matters or it doesn't. Just saying. Pamela is hot as hell. I'm not a fan. I don't think she's ugly, but and before anybody, you just don't like older women. I famously like older women. I just, she's okay.
To continuing to enforce the FACE Act to address violence and threats against those providing reproductive health care services?
Senator, the FACE Act not only protects abortion clinics, but it also protects pregnancy centers and people going for counseling. The law.
No, it doesn't. It should, but it doesn't. We had several of those places burned, and nobody said boo. What was that, like 2 years ago, where they're burning down these places that give an alternative to killing your kid? They're like, no, we'll teach you. We'll show you how you can manage this. And
should be applied even-handedly. Yes, Senator.
So you'll uphold the enforcement of that law?
I'll uphold the enforcement of the law, Senator.
Okay, and I will ask my antitrust questions in the next round. We had a good discussion about that, and I do appreciate the nominee that has been put in place for the antitrust division, and there's incredibly important work that has to be done in that division. So
Gail
thank
Slater
you.
is remarkable. Thank you.
Thank you.
I thank all of my colleagues for abiding by the 7-minute rule. Before I
Hi guys, sorry about that. Mike died, and the only way to fix it is to actually back out and plug it in and reset it. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's bring Bondi back up on the screen here. No, that's the wrong button, Frank. Ba, 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 ba. All right, there we go. You didn't miss anything. The last part there was Klobuchar saying that in the next round of questioning, she's going to ask about antitrust, which is mostly, my guess, going to focus on Elon and Trump, if I'm being honest. Bring the ducks back. They're here. They're here. Base Cash Patel, thank you so much. To signify, purchase the words of legendary Terry Davis, letter agent, glow in the dark. You can see them if you're driving. You just run them over. That's what you do. I disavow running over people, but I'm going for the high score on jobs. All right. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. Okay, so we're back to this. I don't care about Mike Lee's questions. Where does he end? Grassley did just tell us that they were getting ready. Wait, why is Kennedy after Mike Lee? Huh. Aren't they both Republicans? I mean, I know Kennedy is.
Criminal justice system.
Yes, Senator.
Can we agree
Sorry, I know we said we weren't gonna watch any Republicans, but it's Kennedy, and I love Kennedy, so we're gonna watch him anyway.
that legitimacy is important to the Department of Justice, which in part administers our criminal justice system?
I like Kennedy because he sounds like a rube, but he's actually a pretty smart guy. RFK is a Democrat. This is John Kennedy from Louisiana, not of the Kennedy clan. This isn't the Kennedy cartel.
Yes, Senator.
And if Americans come to believe that our criminal justice system or our Department of Justice.
Look, I want to let you talk, Kennedy, but I got a donation here. Let me get this real quick. Metal Minister, thank you. Imagine that. They call it the FACE Act while stripping babies' faces off. Ghouls. Not shocked YouTube wouldn't let this be a super chat. Yeah. They're a little touchy about baby faces.
Justice is acting illegitimately. That makes Americans less likely to accept the results of that system, does it not?
Yes, Senator.
And that makes Americans less likely to follow the substantive laws that we pass.
I mean, yeah, he's kind of got a point there. If you undermine the justice system and make it seem like it doesn't matter if you're good or bad, it actually matters what politics you have, then yeah, why would you follow the law? Tyrai, thank you so much. Most women killing their babies are not even completely informed because of bias government level. Plus, CDC doesn't consider artificial abortions, which is now passing over 1 million a year. This is the highest yearly death toll, more than even cancer. Yeah, we do know that, for all the talk about, hey, they're coming after abortion, Donald Trump's abortion laws. More abortions happened after Dobbs than before it. The years before Dobbs is decided, which Dobbs is the case that overturns Roe. The Dobbs decision, abortions are down. They don't count them the way that they should, but with the counting that they did do, 650,000-ish. And then the year Dobbs passes, well, not passes, is decided, it's over 1 million. It's over 1 million. Over 1 million babies killed. And they're like, we need to care about the kids. So we can kill them and then rape them.
That are administered by the Department of Justice. Isn't that true?
Yes, Senator.
And if that happens, we have chaos, don't we?
Chaos.
Yes.
And the social contract is breached, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep. I don't know what he's getting at here.
Do you remember a person by the name of Michael Avenatti?
Yes.
I really don't know where he's going now, but he just brought up Avenatti, which is funny as shit. Remember when Brian Stelter wanted him to run for president? All of CNN was like, he's the greatest. Avenatti's showing up at parties at like Don Lemon's house and shit.
Several years ago, he was a media star here.
Yes, he was.
In Washington.
An attorney, correct?
Yes. He was a media
Who
star.
tried blackmailing Nike.
And many members of our media loved him because he persistently
Lied.
bashed Donald Trump.
Lied about Donald Trump.
And he was on TV.
And remember, his client, oh my God, fuck, what was her name? I don't even remember anymore. She was not Blasey Ford. It was the other chick who claimed that she went to a party, a high school party as a college student. She went to a high school party at Brett Kavanaugh's house, and many of them. And these were rape parties. There was a girl raped every night at these well, I say every party, not every night. It's not like they did it Monday through Sunday. But every one of these parties she went to, there was a woman raped, and she didn't really think much of it until it was her turn. And then they actually start digging into that story, and it falls apart immediately. But Avenatti still got to be famous. Oh no, wait, is Avenatti? No, Avenatti's Daniels' lawyer, right? Oh yes, my bad. I'm thinking of the he did. Never mind. Ignore everything I said about the rape girl. Avenatti was Daniels' lawyer and stole money from her. He stole money from her and knew her story was bullshit from the beginning. Dark Resurrect, thank you for that feminist $12. Morning Monk just got woke up by my cat. By a cat deciding my groin would be a good landing pad from the window. Ooh. Surprisingly, the cat is still alive, but I am wide awake. Me and Lady Monkey were laying in bed one day, and my crotch didn't do anything. I'm just laying there. I didn't get turned on or nothing. There was no wiggling beneath the sheets or anything. And for no reason, she launched at my crotch, and she didn't attack it. She just landed on it and then turned and ran away. Like, what the hell was that? Like it kind of like what was that movie? What Happens in Vegas? You know why? It was one of those moments. Tried to extort Nike. Yeah, Avenatti, what brought him down was he tried to extort Nike for $20 million. Said, if you don't settle with me and give me this money, I'm going to tell the whole world what a bad person you are to a company. And so they start looking into Avenatti a little more closely, and you have things like him stealing money from an old retired dude and his business partner. He was running around driving. Was it a Ferrari that he was driving? Meanwhile, he owed his partner like $10 million. Yeah, Michael Avenatti was a bad guy, and they knew this at the time, and they still propped him up because they wanted the Stormy Daniels headline. Stormy Daniels said she touched his Mario Wiener. And yeah, it just absolutely asinine.
Every day. He was on CNN more than Wolf Blitzer.
True.
Do you know where Mr. Avenatti is today?
I believe he's sitting in prison.
He's
Senator.
in prison.
He's in jail
No, not jail, prison.
because he was a crook,
Yep.
and the Department of Justice helped put him there, didn't it?
Eventually.
Yes, Senator.
After you've been doing that shit for a long
Do
time.
you remember?
Because remember, we talked about like the stuff that he did with his partner, how much money he owed his partner, and how he was basically guilty of stealing. I mean, it was theft. And the media didn't say shit. And it's not because I went out there and went digging in it was in the press. It wasn't in the mainstream press because they ignored it. But it was all out there. That shit, Avenatti never should have been able to become a household name at the time because he already should have been in prison. So what are these hearings about now? Dark Resurrect, Pam Bondi here has been nominated for the Attorney General. And this is the confirmation hearing.
A gentleman by the name of Sam Bankman-Fried,
Yes, Senator.
boy genius.
And if you remember, what brought down Sam Bankman-Fried was not the Justice Department. It was a rival. It was I forget the guy's name, but from the other crypto scam coin shit, it was like, yeah, I'll save your. Oh no, I won't save your company. It's that bad. And that's when the Justice Department finally was like, maybe we should look at this. It is amazing how many bad people get away with shit. And don't forget that Sam Bankman-Fried spent a lot of other people's money getting Democrats elected.
So smart and so powerful that he thought he could command the tides.
Well, in fairness, he got that from the from the Democrats sucking his dick. Them and the media, and he's the smartest guy that ever lived. And the only reason anybody paid much attention to him is because he was doing what do they call that? The altruism thing. Is it effective altruism? I forget, but like, I am not, when I die, I'll be penniless, even though I'm a billionaire now. I'm going to give all my money away while I'm alive. I'm going to drive a Nissan Sentra. That's how much I'm just a normal person like you. And it was that nonsense bullshit that got him so much fame to begin with. Michael Alvinati, thank you so much. Don't you go besmirching my good name, monkey. I can ruin that all by myself. Indeed you can, Michael. Indeed. Yeah. The only reason Sam Bankman-Fried got to be where he is because he had the right the right hippie fucking politics, the right commie bullshit talking points. He didn't live like a fucking pauper. Yeah, he drives a Nissan. I forget what crappy little car it was he was driving. He wasn't in a Bugatti or anything. So like, see, he's not driving an expensive car. He's really going to just give all these billions away. How much of it did he give away? Anybody remember? Yeah, exactly. Remember how he was living in a one-person mini house? No, that didn't happen either. He had penthouses. He had penthouses for all of his people, for his ugly little girlfriend that other people were banging.
So smart and so powerful and so rich that.
Did you
he
guys
couldn't
see
go to-
yesterday? I forget which congressman it was, but one of the senators talking about Pete Hegseth, because a lot of the Democrats were like, "You got drunk before?" He asked the committee, "How many senators have come to late night votes drunk?" And they all just got real quiet and they're looking down like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Sorry. My point here is that a lot of the people on this committee took money from Sam Bankman-Fried. A lot of them were happy to take money from this thief because they're bad people. And then they get up here and they pretend that they're the paragons of virtue.
The meetings with serious people
Yep.
like Bill Clinton,
Yep.
like Tony Blair, looking like a slob, looking like a
I don't know where he's going with this. If he just
fourth
wants to
runner-up
bash on
to a
Fried.
John Belushi lookalike contest. And he thought it was cute. Where's Mr. Bankman-Fried today?
I believe he is in prison, and I believe that's from the Netflix series I saw as well.
Mhm. Because he's a crook. And who helped put him there?
The Department of Justice, Senator.
Can we agree that there's some really, really good men and women at the Department of Justice?
Sure.
Many, many great men and women in the
But-
Justice Department, as well, Senator, as all the law enforcement agencies that fall within the Department of Justice. They're out.
And again, I hate this though, because let's say you have a bushel of apples, right? And you just blindly reach into it and you pull one out and you bite into it and it's rotten and nasty. It doesn't mean all of the apples in there are rotten and nasty, but that doesn't, the fact that most of them are still good, and I'm not even willing to go most when we're talking about government employees, but even if most of them were good, it doesn't take away from the fact that there's a shit ton of bad ones. It doesn't mean you don't get to complain that the apple is rotten. Like, this one's gross. How dare you? The rest of them are pretty good. And I get what they're getting at here. Yeah, it's not the whole thing. It kind of is, though, especially when the head is corrupt, which it is right now. The Department of Justice is run by Merrick Garland, a political appointee who was put there as retribution. He wasn't even picked because he's a great Democrat leader. It was retribution because Chuck Schumer wanted him to, and Obama, because Obama's the one who did it, who nominates him. Chuck Schumer is like, you guys won't bring him to the floor. And Mitch McConnell like, yeah, you're right, we won't. And like, we'll make you pay for this. We're going to make him the attorney general. And that's what happened. They take this shitbag who shouldn't even have been a nominee for the Supreme Court. And they're like, you motherfucker, he gets to be AG because it was retribution. And when you pick the guy to be the top of the Justice Department as an act of retribution, there's a problem. And I realize Kennedy's not arguing for Merrick Garland, but the Democrats are fine with him. They were fine with that political nominee. And yes, they're all political nominees, but this was political retribution. Ha ha. You thought you stopped him. Look what we did. It was childish bullshit. Ugh. I'm just going to
Out
keep
there
whining
risking their
about this
lives,
shit.
especially the law enforcement officers, every single day.
Can we agree, though,
Uh-huh.
that there have been and may be today some bad people at the time?
There you go, John.
Yes. Senator.
There you go, John.
We don't know for sure because for the last 4 years, the curtains there
Told you I
have
love
been
this guy.
tightly drawn. But I think a minority of people there
Are
have
bad.
delegitimized America's criminal justice system.
Get him, John.
The most destabilizing act that I saw in the past 4 years, maybe in the history of the department, is when Attorney General Garland.
Do you realize, wait, hang on, I'll let him finish that. Do you realize how hard it is for me to listen to him? I speak quickly anyway, and I live in Michigan where you have to be able to speak very quickly or at least hear very quickly to pay. These motherfuckers, it's like I'm about to die and I have to say everything I've ever thought ever in 1 minute. They talk fast as shit. And then I hear John Kennedy here from fucking Louisiana, and everything he says, he draws out. And it's almost like there's a pause in every fucking word he says. It's so hard to listen to. Sorry, that's just my own personal gripe. I love John Kennedy. I think he's a great senator, at least when it comes to questioning people. I don't know a lot about his, wait, John Kennedy once kicked a cat. I have no idea about any of that shit. When it comes to watching these hearings, I love when it's John Kennedy's turn.
Decided on the basis of dubious facts and untested legal theories to criminally prosecute a former president of the United States.
Amen.
And not only that, this is the special part. He decided to do it after the former president of the United States had announced that he was going to run against Attorney General Garland's boss.
Yep.
Senator, are you referring to going after
That's
a
true.
political opponent?
I think so. Now, this is
Do
one
you
person-
remember just a couple of people ago, because Mike Lee's in between there, but just 2 people ago, it was Amy Klobuchar like, hey, we can't have politicization of the Justice Department. She didn't bring up this shit.
that kind of stupid. makes you
Democrats are
think.
dirty little fuckers.
And I say that because, number one, this is America.
Yup.
That had never happened before in America.
Yep.
That's the sort of thing that happens in a country whose Powerball jackpot is 287 chickens and a goat. It doesn't happen here.
287 chickens and a goat. Oh, I fucking love John Kennedy. This is why I watch him, guys. Anytime I see a clip pop up, John Kennedy questions, I watch it. I don't even care what it's about. 287 chickens and a goat. Oh, fuck.
And I call it stupid because it broke the seal. It
True.
broke the seal.
You cannot unfuck that pregnant lady.
Normalized it. There are a lot of ambitious prosecutors in America, Democrat and Republican. And I'll bet you right now there's some prosecutor in a particular state thinking about, well, maybe I ought to file criminal charges against President Biden's inner circle for conspiring
Yep, there are.
to
You don't even have to guess that, John. I mean, there's people out there who are open about this shit.
conceal his mental decline. And that's the road we're headed down. And you've got to fix it, Counselor. You've got to fix it. And here's what, in my judgment, what I would ask you to do. Find out who the bad guys are and the bad women and get rid of them. Find out who the good people are and lift them up. But do it on the basis of facts and evidence and fairness.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Because the temptation of some people
Sorry, I was
is
making
going
a
to
tweet.
be, they're going to tell you, look,
I don't typically tweet during shows, and especially not when I'm alone. But the 287 chickens and a goat, I love that. I need that on a t-shirt. Powerball winner, 287 chickens and a goat. Keldrick, thank you. Okay, I think I understand why you like this guy, Monkey. Alas, I do not have farm animals to add to your riches. You'll have to settle for some normal money. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I can buy 287 chickens and a goat with enough money.
wrongs don't make a right.
And for the record, Kennedy does shit like that all the time. He will. There's a caricature of Southerners where they just use weird phrasing and stuff, where weird analogies, weird metaphors and shit. Like John Kennedy is the personification of that shit.
Going to be. They're going to tell you, look, two wrongs don't make a right, but they do make it even.
And two wrongs don't make a right. And I am not for, and this happened like, remember when Biden is first elected and immediately Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, we're going to impeach him. No, that's jumping the gun. If you have actual crimes that Democrats did, the Justice Department should go after them. Absolutely, without question. But they shouldn't just be like, well, they're a Democrat. We got to do what they did to Trump. The problem isn't that they did it to Trump. It's that they did it. Okay? If they had done it to Biden, it'd be wrong too. Not if they investigated Biden, but if they did the shit that they did to Trump to Biden, it would be wrong. This is the difference between principle and politics. And a lot of motherfuckers out there desperately need to figure this out. Okay, real quick. 287 chickens and a goat. Did you mean to donate that much? Because if not, we can find a way to fix that. Thank you so much for that donation. Holy shit. If you did not mean to do that, let me know. Hit me up. If you're on Twitter, send me a DM so we can get that taken care of. Thank you so much. Says, what the balk did we do to get dragged into this? You were in the Powerball. That's what happened. Yeah, please, if you did not mean that. No, it was supposed. Okay. I have to figure out how to fix that. We'll let them talk for a second while I'm doing this.
resist that temptation. Help us
Uh,
restore legitimacy to the Department of Justice.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. Mr.
Who's
Chairman.
next?
Welcome, Ms. Bondi, and to your family.
Thank you.
Thank you for visiting with
Who
me.
is- oh,
in
God.
my office. And I have to
This
say-
is Sidney Blumenthal. This is a motherfucker who he's a stolen valor piece of shit. Hang on, guys. I've got to take care of this thing real quick. Is there a way for you to? You may have to charge this back, dude. Fuck. Guys, I'm sorry. I have to take care of this real fast. Bro. My bad. Keep 10 for the trouble. In all seriousness, I'm trying to find. Does anybody know how you reverse a donation on Streamlabs besides a chargeback? I don't mind a chargeback if you have to do it that way. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on how to do that. Hey, bud, go into your thing and see if you can just do a chargeback on that. I will not dispute it at all. I have no problem with that. Anyway, let's get to fucking Sidney Blue. I hate this guy. This guy looks like he died 10 years ago. It looks like he's been dead for a while. And he's dumb as shit.
I'm sympathetic always.
We just watched John Kennedy, who honestly I think is probably one of the smartest guys in the Senate. He just plays dumb until he hits you with the smart glove. I feel bad that after that, now we have to watch Blumenthal because god damn.
My office. And I have to say, I'm sympathetic always to a former attorney general, particularly having been one myself. But I am
Get closer to your microphone.
Really troubled, deeply disturbed by some of your responses and non-responses to the question that you've been asked today.
Which non-response? Okay, again, we are only like 6 people deep. She's answered every question. I don't know what These are the people who tell you that Kamala Harris did great at the debate. Your non-answers have really bugged me here. Which one? Give an actual example. And maybe he will. I doubt it because he's a retard, but let's see.
You say the right things, that you're going to be the people's lawyer. That's what you have to say to be here.
But
I believe being the people's lawyer means you have to be able to say no to the President of the United States. You have to speak truth to power. You have to be able to say that Donald Trump lost.
Oh my God, it's about the election. Okay, all right. You have to be able to say Donald Trump lost. She already said Biden was the president, that he is the president, but there was weird shit that happened. I don't trust anybody who can look at the 2020 election and doesn't see any issues. Even the news media didn't say there were no issues. Remember what they always remember their Congress uses this phrasing too. No widespread election fraud. That it's never been there was no election fraud. There's not widespread. All she said is that there was some funky shit that happened, and there was. There was absolutely funky stuff that happened. And when you look at the numbers, once again, this is something that just came out. Because we've had an election since there's a line of the number of voters in the United States, the number of people who cast votes in presidential elections. And it goes on this pretty predictable linear path until 2020, when there's a massive spike. And you know what happened in 2024? It came back down to where if you get rid of 2020 and you draw a line from 2016 to 2024, it's still going in that same trajectory. I don't know how you look at this and see. I don't know how you look at a president getting more votes than he got the year before or in the election before and still losing and don't go, wait, this is an anomaly. There's something happened here, something that you can explain. What, just, well, we could vote from home. Most places you could do that in 2024, but nobody did. It wasn't the, you have massive amounts of Republicans who go out there and vote beforehand because you can now. And it didn't push up the numbers in the same way that 2020 did. Are you telling me it's just because there was a pandemic? People were so scared they thought they would be their only chance to ever vote. I don't know why I went into my Bill Clinton for that.
2020 election. You dodged that question.
No, she didn't.
When you were asked
No, she didn't.
directly by Senator Durbin. You have to be able to say that January 6th insurrectionists who committed violence.
Wait, no. Did you hear what he just said? You have to agree with this. You have to say this thing. You can't have any other opinion. Hey, Sydney, is that really what you want? Is people who are not allowed to have a different opinion? I mean, I know it's what you want. You're a Democrat, commie little piece of shit. But is that really what you want to project to the world? You're supposed to hide that shit, Sid.
Shouldn't be pardoned. You have to be able to say,
okay,
that,
no. So I cut him off there, but what he said is you have to be able to say that January 6ers shouldn't be pardoned. I'll say the January 6ers shouldn't be pardoned. Most of them shouldn't have been charged, much less convicted. And in that regard, yeah, they shouldn't be pardoned because they shouldn't need. Sorry, I keep calling him Sidney Blumenthal. It's Richard Blumenthal. Thank you so much. Who's Sidney Blumenthal? That's a real person. I know it is. That's what happens to me in these things. Anyway, Dick here. You know what? That'll make it much easier. I'll just call him Dick. There are a whole bunch of people who not only deserve pardons, they deserve an apology for what happened. Not all. I saw the Hodge twins were mad the other day because J.D. Vance said that the cases for January 6th will be looked at on a case-by-case basis. The very same thing Donald Trump has been saying for quite a while now. Some of them deserve to go to prison and have criminal records, okay? The guy who threw even though it's not the one that hits the officer that died that day, Sicknick, but the guy who throws the fire extinguisher into the group of cops, that guy wasn't defending anybody. He didn't do it because he was, they shot at me, so I threw. No, he was just a dickhead who threw a fire extinguisher at the back of a cop's head. That fucker belongs in jail. Same as the guy that we watched in the Antifa riots who hit a cop in the back of the head with a baseball bat. Some of these motherfuckers. Sidney Blumenthal was Hillary's lackey. Thank you. Some of these motherfuckers were violent, and not unprovoked violence did happen that day, and those people belong in prison, or at least deserve criminal records and probably out of prison by now. But the overwhelming majority of the more than 1,000 cases that they brought should have never been brought. Not only do they deserve a pardon, they deserve an apology. And for him to say, you have to say that they don't belong pardoned. Fuck you. You stolen valor piece of shit. Fuck you.
nominee for the FBI director who says he has an enemy list. And that's just the beginning.
They're really mad about that enemies list.
What he has said in terms of politicizing, deeply weaponizing.
Let me look this up.
The FBI against political
Cash Patel,
that he shouldn't be
enemy
the FBI director.
List,
you know,
names. There we go.
We have some history here.
The who's who. Oh, sorry, I'm reading over him. The who's who on Cash Patel's crazy enemies list. This is on Yahoo, but where's it originally from? Because Yahoo doesn't have their own news. They always just reprint somebody else's shit, don't they? The New Republic. Sure. All right, who's on this list? I just want to know who's on the list. You would think a story called Who's on His List would have a list of the people on here, right? More conventionally, Patel includes on his enemies list the last 3 Democratic nominees for president: Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and Hillary Clinton. I mean, if he's talking about looking into criminal behavior, I have no problem with those 3 being on that list. Kamala spent $1 billion. Can you name anybody else who can spend $1 billion in 3 months for no return and nobody's questioning it? The only other one I can think of is Hillary Clinton. I'm trying to find out and see other names on this list. Can't fault Patel for his partisanship, though. Counting conservatively, 17% of his list contains people that Trump himself either appointed or nominated. That seems pretty bipartisan to me. They're very upset about this list. Anyway, sorry, let's get back to the reason we're here.
Barr, Sessions, and others who perhaps sincerely, when they sat where you are now, said that they would say no, but they were.
All right, let's talk about that for a minute. Barr and Sessions, who sat where you are and said they'd say no to the president. Hey, Sydney, what'd you say to them at the time? Yeah, and she ended up $20 million in debt after spending $1 billion. Sydney, I watched those hearings. I remember you guys, maybe not you specifically because you're a forgettable dick, but how many of you and your colleagues took Barr and Sessions saying that they would tell the president no at face value and left it at that and didn't hammer it in every goddamn question? How many of you did that? And now suddenly they're paragons of virtue. These men who we completely trashed during their hearings, they were honorable people. Fuck off. Metal Minister, thank you. Monk, a friend of mine was at the Capitol on January 6th. He was live streaming and repeatedly told everyone to stay away from the building, and he stayed about 200 yards away. They raided him at 5 a.m. about 9 months ago and charged him with being inside. Well, they famously went after the guy who worked for Alex Jones, who never went inside. They tried to go after Alex, and he never went inside. Because it wasn't about, it had, there's so many things wrong with the January 6th prosecutions.
Were working with a president that expected them to be his Roy Cohn.
Even if you want to say, hey, that you were in the Capitol, most of the people in the Capitol, the worst thing you have them for is trespassing. That's it. They didn't break anything. They walked in, looked around, and left. And you gave these people years. Get fucked.
His personal attorney. Do you really think that you can avoid the disgrace that they encountered or the repercussions from the White House if you say no to the president?
What repercussion did Bill Barr suffer? Correct me if I'm wrong, but he quit of his own free will right before the inauguration. Right? Donald Trump, he wasn't fired. Barr wasn't fired, was he? He quit. The humiliation they suffered. Barr refused to actually look at credible evidence of election fraud. Just saying. Dispute filed, no rush. Sorry. Oh, no, dude. It's fine. It's fine. I'm sorry about that. I wish there was an easier way. I know with Super Chats, there's a way to just reverse it. It's been a while since I've had to do it, but I don't know if I've ever had to do the stream. I swear I've done the Streamlabs one before, and they had a way for me to just deny it.
And so my question to you is,
Streamlabs, sorry.
can you say no to the President of the United States when he asks you to do something unethical or illegal?
I thought you told me that there was a whole situation where the president couldn't actually talk to these people. How is he asking them to do something unethical and illegal? Oh, that's right. Remember they used to tell us, well, Donald Trump said this publicly, and that was him telling Bill Barr he has to do this.
Senator,
What's
first,
up,
I
P-Dog?
need to clarify something that you said, that I have to sit up here and say these things. No, I don't. I sit up here and
Get
speak
him.
the truth.
Fuck that
I'm not gonna
asshole.
sit up here and say anything that I need to say to get confirmed by this body. I don't
Amen.
have to say anything.
Get him. Get him. Exactly. How dare you tell her she has to say this? Fuck you. Ugh. Is it just me or is the hearing silent? Blumenthal is not sitting close enough to his microphone. He's been the only one that's really bad to hear right now.
I'll answer the questions to the best of my ability
Well,
and
let
honestly.
me ask you, an individual who says that he is going to, quote, come after, end quote, people he alleges, quote, help Joe Biden rig the presidential elections, that he has a list of people who are part of this deep state who should be prosecuted, that he's going to close down the FBI building on his first day in office. Is that a person who appropriately should be the FBI director? Aren't those comments
I mean,
inappropriate?
look, you can ask that question, but again, you're going to get to question Kash Patel. You can ask him that directly.
Shouldn't you disavow them and ask him to recant them?
Senator, I am not familiar with all those comments. I have not discussed those comments with Mr. Patel. What I do know.
Well,
is
I'm
Mr.
asking you
Patel,
for your
excuse
view.
me, what I do know is Mr. Patel was a career prosecutor. He was a career public defender, defending people. And he also has great experience within.
I
the
mean, you should have
intelligence
answered
community.
in fairness here, she's not answering that question. And I don't necessarily blame her for that. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a dumbass question, and that's what she should have said. If you're going to answer, if you're going to be like, hey, your question is stupid, then just say, hey, your question is stupid. You should ask that of Kash. I'm not Kash. When did he say that? Well, it's very much, look, at the beginning of this, Dick Durbin is asking Bondi here about the find 11,000 votes down there in Georgia. Donald Trump said find 11,000 votes. He did say those words in that order. But what he said is, we need you guys to give us time to find these votes that we know are there. He didn't say we want you guys to go out there and find us 11,000 votes, which is how the media portrayed it, and it's how Durbin portrayed it. And Bondi asked him, what's the rest of the context of what he said there? And you know what Dick did? He changed the subject quick. He's like, well, he said those words and moved on, because they do this all the time. And look, I'm not saying Kash Patel hasn't said that he's going after these people or that he says that these people need to be looked into. Frankly, many of them do. And it's not based on them being Democrats. It's based on their public statements and their actions that we've seen. And this is what I think it was White House got into earlier. Like, you're not supposed to find the person and then find the crime. He's not doing that. He's not going after every fucking liberal ever. He's going after people who've done really shady fucking shit in plain view of everyone. But they're like, no, you're not. That's a Democrat. You're not allowed to say that they probably did something illegal. Meanwhile, they will repeat lies about Trump constantly.
What I can sit here and tell you
Tell him.
is Mr. Patel, if he works with running the FBI, if he is confirmed, and if I am confirmed, he will follow the law.
There you go. Get him.
If I am the Attorney General of the United States of America.
And that's fair, Bondi, but Dick here is not, I don't know why I was calling him Pete. Dick here is not going to care about that. Because all Dick wants to hear is, you're right, Trump's bad. And unless you say that, it doesn't matter. Look, he literally just pointed to two of Trump's former AGs. People he treated just like you when they were in that chair. And now suddenly they're great people. Now, so they stood up to Donald Trump. They said they would do it, and I called them fucking liars, but you're the real liar. Eventually, I'm going to get this right. If I accuse enough people of being just fucking liars while they sit here, it'll eventually be true. Hey, Dick, why don't you tell us about your military experience again? You're so concerned about liars and shit.
America, and I don't believe he would do anything otherwise.
Well, let me just submit that the response that I would have hoped to hear from you is that those comments are inappropriate and that
Let me tell you what you're supposed to say. This is the approved party line.
you will ask him to disavow or recant them.
It's
when he
not up
comes
to her
before
for
this
that.
committee, because they are indeed chilling to fair and forth.
To the criminals that I'm friends with, they're chilling to those people. Again, I just can't get over the fact that these are the same people who have sat there cheering for 4 years as the department has been weaponized, who love to use the term felon Donald Trump. And now they're like, hey, you guys aren't going to weaponize this against your political opponents, are you? We did, and we saw how bad it was for you, and we don't want to deal with that. I'm liking this guy in the background who's got the socks that match the floor. I don't know who that is.
Enforcement and the rule of law. Let me ask you on another topic. When we met, I welcomed your support for the goals of the Kids Online Safety Act. And
Hang on a second. Thank you, Matt Barnes. Monkey, you leave that honorable veteran Denang Dick alone. Yeah, he's a very honorable man. All right, I don't know what they're going to get into, but I hate the way he phrased that. You supported the goals of the Kids Online Safety Act. The stated goals of so many of the bills that get passed have nothing to do with the actual bill that gets passed. So the idea that I just do not like the start of you support this goal, right? Because the goal and the legislation are not mutually exclusive.
support for the goals of the Kids Online Safety Act. And Senator Blackburn and I have spent a lot of time, devoted a lot of effort to the passage of the Kids Online Safety Act, which happened by an overwhelming vote of 91-3, 72 co-sponsors, including Vice President-elect Vance. I appreciated our discussion and your support for protecting kids online when we met last week. I'm hopeful that this area is one where we can work together. Can we count on your support in working together to protect kids online?
Senator, absolutely, and thank you for that legislation, and Senator Blackburn. I believe in this world right now, we have to find the things we have in common. And that is
Do we?
certainly one of them, Senator, protecting our children from online predators. You've done so much on that front, and I thank you.
I'm all for protecting kids online. But the kind of stuff that comes out of Congress, and I have to go back and read it again. If I remember correctly, a lot of the wording in this bill is, let's call it nebulous at best. It's vaguer than it needs to be, and it's going to lead to some bad shit down the line.
Attempted to do that as well when I was Attorney General, but I am committed to working with you on anything we can do to protect our children throughout this country. When I was Attorney General, we started something called From Instant Message to Instant Nightmare, and educating parents about online predators. And that also, Senator, is one of the core functions of the FBI, the cyber unit. They sit there, these agents.
Don't get me started on them. I mean, yeah, some of them are good, but don't forget a 9-year-old boy got raped because the pedophile that they were looking at, they decided they couldn't waste the resources on that because they were too busy going after old ladies who walked into the Capitol building on January 6, 2021. This is what I was talking about with goals, right? We have the goal to save children, but grandma went inside the Capitol, so that little kid's gonna have to get butt fucked so that we can deal with this instead. And this is what it goes back to with, yeah, there's some good people in the FBI, but there's also a lot of really bad people. There's some good intentions behind laws, but there's also some very poorly written laws that lead to bad shit. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Let's stop talking about intentions and start dealing with what's really happened.
Agents sit there all day long and investigate child predators. We tell parents constantly, you think
Ms.
you're talking.
Bondi,
How many of them are going after? Well, let's P. Diddy. This dude has been out there banging kids for years. What did this cyber crimes unit do with that? What did the FBI do with that?
into another
I
child,
apologize.
and
I'm,
you're
I'm
not.
going to interrupt you. I welcome
Sure.
your positive response. I have
Oh,
one
go ahead.
more question that I'm going to try to fit into.
Sure.
Well,
this
then
last-
shut up and ask it.
TikTok
Uh-huh.
will be banned unless it is sold because it has become a tool for the Chinese to collect information and do surveillance and endanger our national security. Can you commit that you will enforce that law?
What is going on TikTok that if the Chinese look at it, it endangers our national security? Granted, I don't use TikTok, but I have seen quite a bit of it over the years. What's going on TikTok that is endangering national security? You guys didn't have a problem with Hillary Clinton's private server for, national security stuff. But some chick shaking her ass to a bad song is, if the Chinese find out she has $10 in her bank account, that's gonna destroy America, is it? I'm so curious how that works. I really am. And if that puts our national security at risk, what about the stuff that Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all these other places collect about us? These are not really well hidden secret. I mean, they sell the information. We have to censor the internet because it can influence my children. Think of the children. Yeah. Look, I do think that there's laws that should be on the books. Like, the internet has unfortunately become a way for these degenerates to send their, let's call them, unsavory pictures to one another. And if that's happening, those little fuckers need to go to jail and never see the light of day again. I'm for that. That's fine. AOC has a TikTok account. Are they going to prosecute her? No. She's one of the good ones. Yeah, you want to talk about national security? Yeah, you have AOC on TikTok. I can see that becoming a national security issue. Members of Congress being on there. But what kind of information are they getting that is a national security risk? I'm genuine in that question. If somebody can point me to something, I'm willing to learn. I just can't believe that anybody has enough stuff on their TikTok bio that's like the Chinese are like, this is it. We finally got America. I hate what TikTok is because it is just a spot for dumbasses to go and be dumbasses and get a lot of attention. And a lot of it is commie propaganda. It absolutely is. But so is a lot of Facebook. So is a lot of Twitter. Twitter, not as much anymore because you're allowed to push back against it. My problem is with the censorship that doesn't allow us to call this shit out, not with the people saying stupid shit to begin with.
Promptly and effectively. And I ask this question because President Trump's pick for your Solicitor General in the Department of Justice went to the United States Supreme Court arguing that the ban should be delayed. Will you?
He argued that the ban should be delayed so that it can be looked at. This is what I was talking about earlier with the Justice Department should not automatically just be like, yeah, that's a law Congress passed. We're going to go fight for it. Because some of the laws are bad. And frankly, the TikTok law is bad. It is.
You commit to enforce that law on your first day when you are, if you are confirmed.
How is she going to enforce the law on her first day? If she gets confirmed, probably what, next month, couple of weeks. I don't know when they're planning on having the full votes on these guys. But she's a prosecutor. How is she going to implement it her first day? You got to have somebody who violates the. This isn't the presidency. She doesn't get to go in there and make an executive order. Ah, fuck.
Senator, as I discussed with you during our meeting, that is pending litigation within the
Yes.
Department of Justice.
Well, it's pending litigation, but will you enforce that law?
I can't discuss pending litigation.
You can discuss pending litigation. God damn you, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She made this an okay thing to do. What you can do is give your opinion on it. Absolutely, you can. And if you think it's a stupid law, then say you think it's a stupid law. But if it's passed, then you'll prosecute as you're supposed to. Or you'll use prosecutorial discretion to go, I don't care.
But I will talk to all the career
Well, again,
prosecutors who are handling the case. Absolutely, Senator. Discuss with them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, tell us.
Ms. Bondi, thank you for being here. I think I told you when we met, thank you for the time we met.
Why are they so quiet now? They weren't quiet at the beginning.
Have a lot of friends and family. And
Why are they
follow
focusing on
Florida
Grassley?
politics pretty closely, and you've had a very impressive career there, though I do also have to admit I'm a Gator hater, so for the
I don't care about
University of Tennessee.
this shit.
Be independent of the White House. It is
Oh
poisoning
my God.
Senator.
DOJ's
I know that
laws.
voice.
Studying the facts. I don't think, though.
Do you guys know who's coming up?
That Biden is.
That is
an
Mazie
illegitimate
Hirono.
president. In fact, I think you said just the opposite. He is.
How
the
is she on
president
this
of the United
committee too?
States. No, can have a pardon because they walked past it. Would
I don't care. Shut up.
And I can't control when my senators come back, but I expect you to be back after 30 minutes and I'll be here.
Yes,
And-
Chairman.
And then I may leave the meeting to open the Senate, so whoever's on our side is acting chairman during that period of time. Senator Hirano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is it Hirono? I always thought it was Hirono. Why do these people change their pronunciations? Anyway, yes. Mazie Hirono. Oh, I hate this woman. She is so stupid. I don't know if I can do this, you guys. Not live. I need to drink first. Is it too early to drink? It's 12:30. You can have alcohol at 12:30, right? Ah, God, I do not like this woman. Thank you so much, Tyrai. Oh, it's loading. Load up. Damn, thank you. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. That is true. Thank you, Tyrai. The issue with TikTok is China government officials have their hands in it and censor any anti-China content and pro-American content while pushing anti-American and pro-China propaganda. Also, the CCP refuses to let their own people use TikTok. Yeah, I get what you're saying there. I do. And that's why I said the censorship is the issue, not that it's some national security issue where people's information is being used so China can take over the US. I have no problem with the propaganda side of it. That's absolutely true. And if you want to say that outside countries do not enjoy First Amendment protections, I'm all for that shit. They want the First Amendment. Let them show me by getting it in their own fucking country. It's the notion that it's a national security risk that they're going to find out that you went to Amazon and bought a dildo or whatever. That is just nonsensical. Never too early to drink. All right, Mazie, how dumb are you going to be today? 7 minutes of Mazie Hirono. Oh, God.
My responsibility to ensure the fitness of all nominees, I ask the following two initial questions. First, since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
All right. She did this with Pete Hegseth yesterday, too. She says that I'm sorry, she's so low. I can't turn this up because we're doing it through StreamYards instead of through OBS, which I might switch soon. We'll have to see. I have to do some testing to see if we can do that. It's not that I don't like StreamYards, but The ability to turn up volume would be so helpful so many times. But anyway, her question is, have you ever sexually harassed or raped anyone? She puts it in more legalized terms, but that's the question. You ever raped somebody?
No, Senator.
Have you ever?
I want to point out, she doesn't ask if they ever murdered anybody, if they ever stole from anybody, if they've ever just physically abused anybody. Just about the have you ever been sexual to somebody in an unwanted way? And that she puts that wording in there. Have you ever done an unwanted sexual advance? Well, I think a lot of people, I don't want to say most because I don't think I've ever, well, I have because I've done it to my wife. But I have made sexual advances at my wife when she's like, nah, not tonight, babe. That's an unwanted sexual advance. I can't be a member of the cabinet because I asked my wife if she wanted to have sex and she didn't want to. It's such a loaded bullshit. Just ask what you want to ask, Maisie. Have you ever raped anyone? We care about the vagina now. We know what women are again.
Ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement relating to this kind of conduct?
No, Senator.
Her second question, these are her two disqualifying questions. Have you ever had an NDA that keeps people from talking about you raping them? Those are the only two guaranteed disqualifiers in Maisie Hirono's arsenal. You ever murdered a child? Cool. You didn't hit on their mom, did you? And I know that I'm taking that to the extreme, but that's what you have to do when you're looking at this kind of retarded nonsense. All right? You have to do that. Because eventually somebody's gonna. When you give, like, this is how, it's kind of the YouTube thing, like, well, if we tell you the rules, you won't break them. Maybe you leave it, you let this happen, then we're going to do it. She's literally saying murdering a child is better than asking some chick for a blowjob and she's like, I'm not even interested in you. I yuck. Go murder a child and then you can work for the White House. It's fucking disgusting, man.
Ms. Bondi, I am focused on two things in my evaluation of President-elect Trump's nominees. The first
I am focused on two things with Trump's nominees. One, are you Trump's nominee? And two, why do you suck?
is whether the nominee is qualified and experienced enough to do the job. The second is the fitness to serve, which includes putting loyalty to the Constitution over loyalty to the president. Unfortunately, in my view, many of President-elect Trump's nominees are lacking.
Oh, she had to correct herself. She called him President Trump. You'll notice that the Democrats, very few of them will refer to him as President Trump. They'll either call him former President Trump or President-elect Trump. They have to make sure they do that thing. They'll call President Obama still. But with Trump, it's either former President Trump or President-elect. And she accidentally called him President Trump and had to stop and correct herself. Oh, shit.
Lacking in at least one of these two requirements. Ms. Bondi, your experience as a prosecutor is the kind of thing we would expect to see in a nominee for attorney.
Yeah, when you become Attorney General of the United States, it's one of the few areas where you can have a good outside experience that translates well. Becoming Secretary of State, like Rubio's going through his nomination hearing over on another channel right now, you can't prepare to be Secretary of State because there's no other job in the country that's like Secretary of State except Under Secretary of State. And rarely do you see that person nominated to take over the role. The AG, I mean, an AG of a state is not much different than the AG of the United States. There's different laws that are involved, but it's a career prosecutor, and it is one of the few, and none of them are going to come after her. We've watched several videos on here of judges who are being nominated for the appellate division or even, up to the Supreme Court. You see these judges and they'll ask them about the cases that they've gone over. we are like 6 Democrats deep now, and not one of them has questioned her about any of her. Well, no, let me take that back. Durbin questioned her about working for Qatar. She was a lawyer. Her law firm was defending them. There was something going on with Qatar. I don't remember what it was. They did ask about that, but not in a way that suggested she did anything wrong while she was working for them, only to suggest that she might be improperly influenced if any Qatar cases come before the AG. Not one of them has come up and gone, this is a case that you oversaw and it was horribly handled. Not yet. We haven't seen that at all. It's all been, you like Trump, don't you? You suck. You know who Kash Patel is. You suck. That's all they've had so far. Anyway, let's see.
General, but I do have questions.
Former president qualifies for Secretary of State. I get what you're going for there, but not in the. It's not a direct correlation because the president has so many other things to worry about. A lot of the negotiations and stuff like that, it's handled by the State Department and not directly by the president. Yeah, kind of, but it's still not this as direct as like AG to AG. And I would say there's not as much conversation between the president of the United States and, say, Justin Trudeau as there is between the Secretary of State and whatever the equivalent is in Canada.
And concerns about potential conflicts of interest,
What do they call it up there? The Secretary of State, eh?
about whether
That was a shit joke. Please don't laugh at that one.
you will keep DOJ's law enforcement responsibilities independent of the president's political whims, and about whether you will let facts and evidence.
Look, I've watched too many of these hearings. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking pissed. I'm so annoyed at this shit. You're going to be independent. Make sure the FBI is independent. These are the same little shitbags who spent the last 4 years defending Garland and Ray and being like, no, everything they've done is fine. All of this clearly political shit that they've done, there's no issue with that. By the way, why do you suck? Why are you so partisan in this job you don't even have yet? God damn, that's annoying. You got to pity, laugh at me. Stop it.
So let's start with the importance of facts, which you say is important. Ms. Bondi, we want an attorney general who bases decisions on facts.
This is how ugly Maisie is. They won't even zoom in on her. Nah, man, we broke camera equipment that way before. All right, sorry, I don't remember what she was saying.
Who bases decisions on facts. So I want to ask you a factual question. Who won the 2020 presidential election?
Joe Biden won the 2020 election. Does that mean he won it fairly? No. He was sworn in as president. He won. That's undeniable. Yes, that is a factual question. He did win. Now ask the follow-up. Did he win fairly?
Joe Biden is the president of the United States.
Ms. Bondi, you know that there is a difference between acknowledging it and, I can say that Donald Trump won the 2024 election. I may not like it, but I can say it. You cannot say who won the 2020 presidential election.
Is that a question?
Disturbing that you can't give voice to that fact. Moving on to...
She did give voice to that fact. She said Joe Biden's the president of the United States. You don't have to like her answer. You don't have to. If you wanted the question, did Joe Biden win legitimately? Ask that question. Ask that. Let her answer the question that you want asked. But you're not asking that question. What you want is people to go, Joe Biden won. And therefore you can go, so see, even she said he won. Well, he did win. He became the president of the United States. That's winning. The contest was who gets to be president of the United States. I don't know what to tell you. The New England Patriots, their first Super Bowl win, they won. Now ask me if they cheated. They absolutely cheated. It's not even a matter of contention. But they did win the Super Bowl. They got the rings. They got the Lombardi trophy.
DOJ's independence from politics. Ms. Bondi, if you are confirmed as Attorney General, you will take an oath to the Constitution and not to any individual, including the President. To start, I'd like to know whether you agree with some of the statements President-elect Trump made during the election, during the campaign. First, are the felons convicted of breaking into the Capitol on January 6th hostages or patriots, quoting Trump, as President-elect Trump has said repeatedly? Do you agree with his characterization of the felons that are
Somebody really should write these questions for Maisie, because that question didn't make sense. What she's trying to ask is, are the January 6 folks patriots, as Donald Trump said? Yes, a lot of them absolutely are. Hirono's so retarded. She is so fucking retarded. She is. Look, there's a few members of Congress that we watch for the fun of it. Johnson down there in Georgia, Mr. Guam could flip over. Maisie's one of those. You do not watch Maisie because she's interesting or fun. It's because she's retarded and she's gonna say something stupid because she can't help it.
I refer to?
I am not familiar with that statement, Senator.
I just familiarized you with that statement. Do you agree?
No, you didn't familiarize her with that statement. Give the full statement. Read the fucking quote from beginning to end. There is a quote of me saying, fuck baby Jesus. There you go. I just said it again. And if you go and ask somebody, hey, do you agree with Monkey when he said, fuck baby Jesus? Most people can go, no. Now give the full context of why I said it and what I was saying at the time. You can't sit there and go, I just gave you 4 words and I put it, I told you what he said. Because Donald Trump did say there's good people on both sides. Was he talking about white supremacists? No, because if you follow the actual conversation, what he actually said, he specifically excludes them. So to sit there, if you went and told somebody Donald Trump said there were good people on both sides, and on the one side there were racists. See, he likes racists, right? I mean, technically you're correct. He did say there are good people on both sides, but he also carved out these specific shitbags are not who I'm talking about. I just gave you the No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Fuck you. I just familiarized. Fuck you.
Agree with that statement?
I'm not familiar with
Fuck
it.
you and baby
No
Jesus.
answer. He has also said illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our nation.
It is.
He said that in December 2023. Do you agree with that statement?
Senator, I am not familiar with that statement, but what I can tell you is I went to the border a few months ago. I
Get
went
her.
to Yuma, Arizona, and what I saw at that border was horrific, Senator. It was horrific.
Ms. Bondi,
went to a
with
rape-
that,
You are bringing in people who have no desire to be Americans. They want American money. You're bringing in people from shitbag countries that they haven't fixed themselves, who are still trying to live the same way they lived there. They just want our money. Fuck off.
Crisis center?
that
If
is
I could
not my
finish.
question.
I went to a rape crisis center. Well, I'm not familiar with the statement, but I
get
went to a
to
rape
the
crisis
next-
center.
let
I
me
met
get
with
to the
Border
important-
Patrol
I have?
agents. I'm sure you've been to the
Ms.
border
Bondi,
as well. So
I
you
want to
could
get
answer
to my
that.
next question. So,
I also hate the way she speaks. She's almost like the female Sandman. I want to get to my next question. She draws out the last word of everything she says. It's really annoying.
I believe that you responded to a question from Senator Whitehouse, and let me get your response again. You said that the White House, if I'm putting words in your mouth, correct me. Oh, you said that the White House will play no role in investigative or charging decisions in the DOJ.
And now let me tell you why I don't believe you, even though I question Trump's other people the same way. Fuck off.
Is that correct?
Senator, what I said is that it is the Department of Justice's decision to determine what cases will be prosecuted.
What role will the White House have in investigative or prosecutorial decisions of the DOJ?
It is the Department of Justice's decision, Senator.
So that sounds to me that you're saying that the White House will not have any kind of role. Meanwhile, though, you have an incoming president who said,
It sounds to me like you said this. I'm going to move on so you can't clarify at all.
I have the absolute right to do what I want to do with the Justice Department. And in fact, President-elect Trump considers the DOJ to be his law firm.
You consider, okay, fuck off. You had a senator on the other side just a little while ago demanding that she back up anything that comes out of Congress. So what you're telling me now is that you're not supposed to be the White House's lawyers. You're supposed to be ours. This is why this office shouldn't even exist.
Ask you this. If President-elect Trump asks, suggests, or hints that you as Attorney General should investigate one of his perceived political enemies, would you do so?
The balls on these Democrats. The balls on these people. Who's dumber, AOC or Pamela Bondi? AOC by a long shot. Did you mean Mazie Hirono? Because that could be a contest. You could have AOC and Mazie Hirono get next to each other. All right, the first one who can count to 2 gets $1 million, and that $1 million will eventually rot away before anybody gets it.
Senator Hirono, I wish you had met with me. Had you met with me, we could have discussed many things.
Oh, shit. She just pulled the reverse of what the fucking Democrats were doing yesterday. Okay, if you guys didn't watch the Pete Hegseth thing, this is a bitch slap to the Republic or to the Democrats yesterday. There were several of them. Let's see. I know Kirsten Gillibrand did it. Several of them who were like, if you would have met with me, we could have discussed this. And she just pulled that shit with Hirono. Look, here's the long and short of it. Pamela Bondi is going to be confirmed. She should be confirmed. Will she be a good AG? I don't fucking know. We'll have to see what she does when she gets in office. But there's no good reason to be against her nomination based on her qualifications. And Mazie there knows that. Unlike Pete Hegseth, Bondi was like, I'll talk to everybody. Hegseth probably was smart in not doing so because, let's be honest, most of the Democrats are just against him because he's a dude. But Mazie knew that she had nothing to say, and instead of embarrassing herself in private, she decided to do it publicly.
I am listening to you now. Could you respond to the question?
Yeah,
What's the question?
You were the only one who refused to meet with me, Senator. But what we would have discussed is that it is the job of the Attorney General to
I'm very
follow
happy to
the
listen to
law.
your responses under oath, Ms. Bondi. So I think it's really important to us that the Attorney General be independent.
She's already
of the
said
White
it.
House. And
You
have a
fucking idiot.
president-elect who considers the
Okay,
His
wait.
office
Let's
his
pause. Let's say, theoretically, Donald Trump somehow gets information that he doesn't know how to get out there, right? But he finds out that Mazie Hirono has been, okay, this is hypothetical. I'm not saying she's done this, but she's been raping and murdering children. He's the only one who knows about it. And he wants to get, is he allowed to go to her and go, that bitch is raping and murdering children? Or because there's this weird separation, is he not allowed? He's just got to keep that information in and let Mazie go on raping and murdering kids. Seriously, it's a genuine question. it's not that nobody should be able to go to Bondi and go, hey, I think this thing is happening. It's at that point that she has to make the decision based on what the law actually says. Trump can come to her and say, hey, I think Joe Biden, as demented as he is, should be held accountable for the things that we know he did. Okay. Even the Justice Department said he did these things. People will think he's just too nice of an old man. He's a bumbling old man. Nobody will actually put him in jail for it. Trump can go to her and say, I think that should be investigated more, or I think that needs to be relooked at. And she can go, I'm not going to do that. There's nothing wrong with the president suggesting it. He is. That time it was my internet connection. Sorry. The idea that a boss can't go to an underling and go, I have concerns about this is fucking retarded. If this is how we're going to do it, we're going to pretend that there has to be an absolute separation at all times, right? Then we need to make them a fourth part of the government. They need to be completely separate. It can't be that they answer to the president. I thought my SD card disconnected again. Nah, it's just my badass internet connection.
Law firm. I would like to know whether if the president suggests, hints, asks that you as Attorney General should investigate one of his perceived enemies? What would
Senator,
you
I
do?
certainly have not heard the president say that. But what I will tell you is 2/3 of Americans have lost faith in the Department of Justice.
True.
And it's statements like that, I believe,
Ms.
that make
Bondi?
people continue to lose faith. If I am confirmed as a
Yeah, look, under Biden, the Justice Department has been entirely independent. Nothing has been done. They've had no say in it. But when Trump gets in there, it'll be the horrible, shitty place that they said it was in 2017, and it didn't turn out to be. Trump can go to her all day long and say, I want you to go after this person. And she can be like, no. He's allowed to have the opinion that people should be prosecuted. But the one that matters is her, if she's confirmed.
Attorney General, it will be my job
Getting
to
on
not
to my
only
next
keep
question,
America
you're not
safe,
responding.
but restore integrity.
She is
to
responding.
that department.
Why don't we
And that's
move
what
on
I
to
plan
something
on
that
doing
you said?
every single day as Attorney General.
On August 25th, 2025, on Fox News, you said,
Wait a second. What date did she just give?
that
Doing
you said,
every single day as Attorney General.
on August 25th, 2025,
On August 25th, 2025. Hang on a second. I got to look at my calendar. August 25th, 2025. January 15th, 2025. Okay. All right. This woman gets to help make your laws, guys.
on Fox News, you said,
The part that bothers me about that is she's reading it and didn't correct herself. We all make mistakes, fine. But you have it in writing in front of you. So either it's written wrong and you didn't catch it, or it's written right and you fucked it up and didn't catch it.
when Republicans take back the White House, the Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones, the investigators will be investigated. Ms. Bondi, is Jack Smith one of those bad prosecutors that you will prosecute as AG?
Senator, you hesitated a bit when I said the bad ones. Every decision will
Sometimes
be
badness
made
in the eyes of the beholder.
Sometimes badness is in the eye of the beholder. Oh, fuck. All right, the question is, will Jack Smith be prosecuted? Who knows? Should he be looked at? Yes. 100% yes.
Older, I'm just asking whether you would consider Jack Smith
Senator,
to be one of the people. How about Liz Cheney?
Senator,
How about Merrick Garland?
I am not.
Liz Cheney was not a member of the she's not a prosecutor. Why is her name brought up here? And as for Merrick Garland, absolutely, he should be investigated.
Going to answer hypotheticals. No one has been prejudged, or nor will
I
anyone
am
be
asking
prejudged
whether
if I am
these are the
confirmed.
kind of people, these are in fact the people that you would prosecute.
Depending on what they find that they did. She didn't say we're going at, she doesn't have the enemies list that you want to put. Kash Patel has an enemies list. She doesn't have that. She said bad prosecutors will be prosecuted. Why do you have an issue with bad prosecutors being prosecuted? What the ever-loving shit? Why is there an F in chat? Did we die again? As far as I know, we're still going. Hello. Say hi. I need the engagement. Everybody talk right now. I can't read it, but talk right now. Somebody. Give me a sign. Hello. I can hear you, Mug. I appreciate it.
I'm not
Your
giving an answer.
time is up. Would you like to?
My time is,
Would you like to
Mr.
respond?
Chairman, she is clearly not going to answer that question, so let me get on to,
Your time is up, bitch. Oh, fuck. What's up, Jack? How you doing, my friend?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fired up. We just watched Maisie Hirono's questions, and oh my God, she's an idiot.
Oh yeah, Maisie's not smart.
Dude, one of her questions was about a interview that Bondi here did in August of 2025.
So like a day ago?
No, August of
August?
2025.
She's from the future?
Okay, so for the record, guys, each senator has 7 minutes to ask questions, and they're doing 2 rounds in this one. We're not watching all of that, guys, but they're doing 2 rounds. So she'll get to ask more questions later. And so far, every senator, when their 7 minutes is up, they're like, all right, I'm done. And not Maisie. Maisie got to say some more shit. Let's back it up so we can get the full context here.
people, these are in fact the people that you would prosecute. I'm not
Your
giving an answer.
time is up. Would you like to?
My time is,
Would you like to respond?
Mr. Chairman, she is clearly not going to answer that question, so let me get on to,
Would you like to?
I do have
I'd love
questions
to
for
respond.
the second round.
You
Your time is up. That's it. Shut the fuck up. And he's offering her a chance to answer, which, by the way, is normal procedure in the chairman gets to decide whether or not the person gets to answer or not. And it is kind of dickish. They should be like, even if I don't like you, we'll give you a chance to answer that. It's not how it happens. It's very partisan. But Maisie, your time's up. Shut the fuck up, lady.
No, she's got more questions. Her time's only up for that question. She gets 7 minutes per question.
Well, the funny part is her question here is about if Bondi will specifically go after, she named Jack Smith, Liz Cheney, and Merrick Garland. And these are people who are like, you shouldn't be prejudging shit. You should be looking at but are you going to prejudge these people as innocent? Because that's what the question is. Are you going to go after them? Because if you do, they're Democrats, and I promise you they're innocent. They're innocent.
Well, there's no such thing as a guilty Democrat.
Oh. Did you catch any of this yet?
No.
I just have to share this part because it's the best part of it so far. John Kennedy was questioning her.
Oh, God.
And he's talking about the election. And he said the kind of stuff that we saw in the election is the prosecution of Trump. He goes, this is the kind of stuff you'd see in a country whose Powerball winning is 286 chickens and a goat. It is my favorite line I've ever heard from Congress. All right, we're skipping ahead. Who is that? Oh, that's Teddy. That's Ted Cruz. Maybe I will listen to it. I've been skipping the Republicans, Jack, because I don't need to hear people flicking her bean, you know?
Yeah. No. I have to point out that I didn't know her middle name was Joe. So now in my head, I hear some hillbilly bumpkin in overalls going, Pam and Joe! And I can't get that out of my mind for some reason. I just wanted to share that with the class.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right. Yeah, I've been skipping them. I only did Kennedy because I love Kennedy. I kind of want to watch Teddy because I have a feeling he will go after the Democrats.
Did he
I have a
win
feeling-
his re-election?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't even a question.
Oh.
Let's see. What was the final there? Texas Senate race. Ted Cruz won 50. Where's it at here? Why is it not showing me this?
I don't know.
99% reporting. Ted, there it is. 53 to 44. With another guy getting 2.4% from the Libertarian Party. So yeah, he won easily. They keep trying to knock him out, and they're not sending their best. They sent Beto the first time. Okay, Teddy, let's see what you got.
We'll have a second round. Would you like to speak before I call on Senator Cruz?
No, sir. Thank you.
Grassley's dying in front of us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, he sounds
General
horrible.
Bondi, well,
I wonder if Maisie has a thing where she's not allowed to be shown on TV asking questions.
I don't know.
All of the people that we've seen so far, Jack, they've zoomed in like they're doing with Ted here, except Maisie. They kept it pulled way back. And I speculated it's because she's so ugly she could break the equipment. But I do wonder if she pulls some like, no, my spirit could be taken out or some stupid shit like that.
You're kidnapping my soul.
It is weird that she's the only one that they haven't shown. Anyway,
welcome. Thank you for your long career in public service. And thank
why
you.
does he do his hair like Eddie Munster?
I don't know.
Could somebody tell him to stop cutting his hair like Eddie Munster? It's really bothering me. It would be better if it was in black and white so it looked right.
And it was shorter.
Thank you for your willingness to take on this incredibly important office. You know, I have to say,
Can I just say Ted Cruz, when he talks, he always talks like he's talking about the most important thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to say, the inflection and everything that he gives, it's always so overly dramatic.
Yeah, it's super serial, buddy.
I don't know that there is a more important position in this new administration than the position to which you have been nominated, Attorney General of the United States. I thought the exchange just a moment ago with Senator Hirono was illustrative. She asked you how you would respond if the president asked you to target his political enemies. It's rather striking because it's not a hypothetical. It has happened over the last 4 years.
Booyah! Told you he was going to go after the Democrats. Get him, Ted.
And I think perhaps the most tragic legacy of the Biden-Harris administration has been the politicization and the weaponization of the United States Department of Justice.
Amen.
We don't need to ask hypothetically because Joe Biden publicly mused and allowed the New York Times to report it, calling on Merrick Garland. Why will he not prosecute Trump more quickly?
Yeah, and as I pointed out just last night, the head of the SEC is stepping down. And the last thing that they're doing officially is going after Elon Musk, saying that he underpaid for Twitter's stock before he bought it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something we saw Joe Biden talking about 2 years ago. When Donald Trump was president last time, anything he said that had any possible implication towards prosecution, they're like, he's telling him what he wants him to do. Joe Biden actually saying, I don't know why they haven't done it yet. That was not, they weren't like, Joe Biden is telling the Justice Department to go after Trump. None of them were wringing their hands about that shit. And for the record, I think Joe Biden should be allowed to say that. I have no problem with him saying that. The onus falls on the AG on whether or not they do it. And they have the right to go, I'm not doing that shit.
I have a problem with him saying it because it takes him forever to spit it out.
Okay, with the way he says it, I'm with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A president should have the ability to have an opinion. I hate that you're not allowed to have an opinion unless you're Joe Biden or Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Jimmy Carter. There's a pattern there.
Yeah. Yeah. Proper people.
And Merrick Garland, sadly, he sat in that chair and promised to be apolitical, and he broke that promise almost the instant he walked into the Department of Justice.
True.
If you look on the west pediment of the Supreme Court of the United States, just above the entrance, there's a simple yet profound four-word phrase, equal justice under law.
But is that what we
have
do?
Seen over the last 4 years a Department of Justice that systematically targeted the political opponents of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and that systematically protected his friends and allies.
I will say this, I have to, just because it's true. I don't like that this is how he's spending his time, because what he should be doing is questioning her so the American people get to know her, and Congress is getting answers relevant to her job that she's applying for.
Yeah.
But everything he's saying is true.
Yeah, but he's just kind of giving a speech.
Yeah, and that happens
That's
way,
obnoxious.
it happens way too often in these committees.
Oh, yeah, and both sides do it. It's super annoying because
Yep.
this person's just sitting there, bored out of their goddamn minds, and they got to pretend they're interested in case he slips a question in there somewhere while they pontificate about some bullshit that is really not relevant to what's going on here.
Yeah. By the way, we are watching this on the Fox News feed. It's because it's the only one I found that I like the way they had it set up. It's not because it's Fox News. I rarely watch Fox News, guys. But they just had a break. I'm skipping the rest of him because all he's going to do is rip into Democrats, and I'll watch that later for my own amusement. All right, but they've come back from their break.
Are in prison to help
Oh, wait.
rehabilitate
Who's asking the question?
people in the Bureau of Prisons will be released. They're not
Oh, somebody,
certified
they started it in mid-question. Good job, guys.
sentences. So we must do everything we can when people are in prison to help rehabilitate them for when they get out. And that's why reentry is so
That's really
vital. But we tell people,
Oh, they're
get out of prison.
maybe the Democrats on this side of the dais were like, please don't film us. That could be used in a court against us.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna be like, hey, that's that dude I saw robbing a 7-Eleven. Anyway.
No, they were
Become a
redistributing the 7-Eleven.
The member of society. Go get a job. Yet people don't know how to go find a driver's
Well, I
license.
appreciate
They
your
don't know
help
how
on
to
that.
get to
So,
work.
thank you very
Yes,
much.
Senator.
And I have confidence that you will do that, given your history on the First Step Act and other things that you did.
Okay, we didn't get to hear the question, but can I just point out what happened there? He asked her a question, she answers it, and he's like, I'm confident you'll do that. Then why did you ask the question? Why didn't you ask her something you don't know the answer to?
Well, he did say they don't know how, or she did say that they don't know how to get driver's licenses.
And look, there is a problem with people who go to prison, getting them, not child molesters because you can't rehabilitate them, but getting them back into life because they're shunned because they're fucking criminals.
Yeah, but they know where the DMV is.
Yeah, but she's trying to suck up to that Democratic wing.
Yeah.
The next, I do have some concerns, not so much about you, but with President Trump.
Then take it up with President Trump. Why are you asking her about concerns you have with Trump?
Because they got to get Trump. Trump, he's like Satan.
My fellow Americans, this is what your tax money goes towards. Just want to point that out.
Has said about a desire on his part to go after what he considers to be political adversaries.
No, you guys are the ones who say political adversaries. He calls them criminals. Can somebody find me a quote of Trump saying, I'm going to go after my political rivals? Or does he point to people who have done something bad and say, we're going after that? And it just happens to be, coincidentally, a Democrat. You know what's amazing to me, Jack?
How awesome we are.
No, I've grown used to that. Matt Gaetz wasn't charged with anything.
Nope.
Matt Gaetz was accused by a guy who was trying to blackmail Matt Gaetz' dad. And it comes from that accusation, put it that way. And the Department of Justice looks into it and goes, yeah, we're not touching that shit. And then some shitbag in the House went, I think there should be an ethics investigation on this. No evidence has been found that he did anything wrong. It's been major headlines. It's been major talking points of the political class. How much have you seen about Bob Menendez?
Almost nothing.
Bob Menendez was convicted of bribery, of accepting bribes. This is a man who had gold bars in his house like a fucking Colombian drug lord.
Yeah, but he had them in the freezer, and everybody knows that gold bars help your freezer maintain the frozen status.
This is a guy who didn't step down. They forced out George Santos, douchebag that he is, when there were no criminal charges finding him guilty. They forced him out. Bob Menendez on his second fucking trial for the same goddamn thing, because the first one hung jury. No, he shouldn't have to step down. He's a good boy. And then they just quietly let him go away. The Democrats and the press are so fucking dirty. And Democrats are so dirty because the press is in bed with them and lets them get away with it. But they're going to sit up here and pretend they give a rat's ass about law and order, Jack. Is Donald Trump going to tell you what to do? Because it's very important to us that there's no political motivation. By the way, all those Republicans belong in jail.
Well, that's what they get for voting for Trump, the monstrous bigots.
I love that part of their proof that Donald Trump is going to go out, it's his political opponents is people who haven't run against him. Meanwhile, the Justice Department went after the guy running against Joe Biden and nobody said shit. None of the Democrats were like, what? I don't understand why you're upset by that.
Yeah, why are you upset by that?
Why does that matter?
That's just what you do.
I don't get it. Now, let's talk about him saying that Liz Cheney's a cunt. Because that's the really important thing. By the way, Donald Trump, as far as I know, has never called Liz Cheney a cunt, but he should have.
Oh, several times.
He's his own words. For instance, says that if he's elected, he'd seek to appoint a special prosecutor to go after Joe Biden. I assume you've had no discussion with President-elect Trump about that.
Absolutely.
He would seek to get a special counsel against Joe Biden. So? There's been some shady shit with the Biden administration and with Joe Biden in his political history. Maybe you should look at that. Just a thought.
Oh, you're silly.
Absolutely not.
And he...
Nor against Senator Schiff. I'm looking at your next one.
Well, my colleague...
oh, God. Did they put Schiffy on the Judicial Committee? He just was elected to the Senate, and that would make him the most junior person on the Senate Judiciary Committee from the Democrats, unless they put another freshman senator in there. I might just skip ahead to the googly-eyed penis boy.
I don't think he's on there, but I think that she was referring to the fact that they were listing the names of people that might be investigated. And Schiff's the obvious.
Oh. Who is it? Is that Schiffy sitting next to whoever's asking the questions right now?
I have no idea. It's hard to tell. Everybody in Congress is ugly.
It's so small. Okay, anyway.
I'm sure. Oh, maybe this Schiff.
I think did an incredibly good job President Biden had different points, or pardon me, President Trump had different views about that, where he said on a number of occasions that he should be prosecuted. That everybody on the January 6th committee should be prosecuted for their lies and treason.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No discussion about that.
No, Senator.
And Liz Cheney also, he's said that she should be prosecuted for lies and treason as well.
We have had no discussions about Liz Cheney.
All right, and you've satisfied me that this is not an agenda you have. President Trump has satisfied me that when he says things that are pretty provocative, he's often serious. And as Senator Cruz wants.
I don't really care about this guy's opinion of whether or not people believe what they say. So we're skipping ahead.
I think it should be clipped to where he says, President Trump satisfies me.
I'm not sure who that is. I don't really care, but we're back to Democratic side.
President Trump's then attorney, Rudy Giuliani. And together.
Wait, why do I know that voice? Who is that?
Is that Blumenthal?
No, Blumenthal already went. Padilla, I don't know how you pronounce that name. Yeah, I've seen this little prick before. I'm done with this, guys. If I'm being honest, I don't care anymore. We should check in on Rubio. I don't know what's going on with him. Because the Rubio confirmation is going on at the same time, Jack. They had somebody get kicked out. There were several of them at the Pete Hegseth one yesterday. We haven't seen any of them with Bondi, which, granted, we did skip through some people, but Rubio, no, not.
Did you already go over Hegseth?
Just barely, because I didn't talk about a lot of it. Was there any specific part you wanted to discuss?
No, I was just curious.
I mean, it was mostly the Democrats trying to paint him as a rapist. Sure. And saying that it's bad that he suggested women shouldn't be on the front lines of combat, and him going, I am a little disappointed in him because he should have pushed back harder and been like, yeah, they don't belong in some roles, period. There's nothing wrong with
girl brains.
Yeah. They're like, the women don't think they can get promoted if you're in there. Is the only way to get promoted is through combat? Because I'm fairly certain women weren't allowed in combat for a long time and still made it all the way to the rank of general. I'm fairly certain that's a real thing that happened. You can get
polished knob well enough.
You can still get promoted within the specialty that you're in. But they act like, no, you're going to make it so women can't ever do anything good. Oh, Cornyn is questioning. I don't care. They're talking about a water treaty. Never mind. Fuck it. We do not need to check in on Rubio. All right. So, Jack, this is the third confirmation with the two of those going together. Confirmation hearing. We're hearing that Pete Hegseth probably did well enough that he is going to be confirmed. There were some questions about like Joni Ernst and Collins.
Treacherous little rhino.
Yeah. But Thune came out and was like, yeah, he's got the numbers. So
good.
Hegseth will probably get through. The one that I'm really looking forward to is Kash Patel when he gets up there. And look, guys, I don't know a lot about Kash Patel. I really don't. I don't follow the guy. I haven't followed his career. But there's going to be some fireworks because it's going to be the same committee we were just watching, the judiciary. And boy, will that be fun, Jack.
I believe the word you're looking for is shit show.
It's going to be a shit show, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this one up? We're at 2.5 hours here, so I need to go get some lunch.
What?
And in fairness, it'll be my breakfast too, because I woke up at 9, so I should probably eat.
Yeah, you probably should. You like that surviving thing.
I've had 2 small handfuls of honey roasted peanuts. That's all I've eaten today.
That's so nutritious.
It's got protein.
You should have at least had some Captain Crunch.
I'm not a big fan of Captain Crunch. That shit tears my mouth up.
Well, you're supposed to let it absorb some milk first.
No, if I'm gonna eat cereal, I go for Honey Nut Cheerios because I love me some Honey Nut Cheerios. My favorite food ever, breakfast wise, Cocoa Pebbles. Nothing like little scoopfuls of chocolate boogers, man. You ever notice they look like boogers? They really do.
They do look like boogers.
But God, they're tasty.
I prefer the Fruity Pebbles myself.
I don't like any fruity cereal. I don't think that it tastes like fruit. It all just tastes like sugar. And I like sugar, but not that much.
Sugar.
I defy anybody. I want to do a test because people tell me they can taste the fruit in there. I want to blindfold people and feed them Fruit Loops and Fruity Pebbles and have them accurately tell me which one they just ate.
They ate sugar.
They're like, that's cherry. Like that was an Oreo, motherfucker. Oh man. American cereal is super healthy. It's part of a healthy breakfast. I've heard that on commercials.
If you're not diabetic.
As long as you don't eat any of it, it's part of your healthy breakfast.
Just drink the milk. You're probably okay that way.
I don't have cereal very often, and when I do not eat it for breakfast. I have it as a snack. Because it's a snack. It's a sweet.
Yeah, it's all sugar and high fructose corn syrup and some variation of that.
And all of it is either corn or rice based. It's like we're gonna cover carbs in sugar. That'll get your day going. Anyway, so yeah, we'll wrap up here. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so awesome. Jack, anything you'd like to show?
No, I got nothing. But thanks for coming out, everybody.
Q, are you still around? Are you on Twitter? If you are, hit me up on Twitter so we can make sure that reversal got taken care of, bud. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Jack, a pleasure as always, my friend.
Always glad to be here.
Tonight, if I do not do the show by, say, 10, I probably will not be doing the show. I have stuff to do tomorrow, and I want to make sure I'm awake for it. That doesn't mean I won't do one tomorrow morning. So there will be a show. I'm just not sure when, because I have to have sleep tonight, Jack. I have to. I'm in charge of a baby for a little bit tomorrow. I need.
Oh
sleep.
yeah. I mean, I guess
it's how it goes. Anyway,
sleep is weakness.
Guys, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. We love you. Oh wait, did I ask you if you wanted to shill anything? Do you want to shill anything?
I don't have anything.
I'm going to ask you a third time just to make sure. Do you need to shill anything?
No, I'm good.
Do you think Donald Trump should tell you what you should shill?
I don't know. He'd probably make better life decisions for me than I do.
Guys, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
Song in the middle of the day seems weird, but this is when the show ended. That's not funny at all. I didn't mention my dick.